Oh, that looks so awesome.
Eh,
It looks so good on you. It's good to see you. It's been a while since we've seen you on the calls.
yeah, I'm glad to be back.
I was like, you were busy with your grandbaby. Hello,
Yeah,
Jade.
Hello.
Sorry, Carrie, keep going. Tell me about your grandbaby.
no, no, it's good. She'll be back she'll be here for 3 more weeks, but I only have her a couple days a week. So
Is she, how far away from you is she?
she lives in Kansas right now.
Hmm,
So 20 hours
so far.
by
Far.
car.
Oh, that's a long ways. Jade, how are you?
I'm alright.
You are up very late.
I'm surviving.
What?
I'm surviving.
Yeah, well, when you're up at 2 in the morning, we're
Oh
also
my
meeting
gosh.
Nah, it's
tonight.
actually, what is the time? It's 12 over here, where I
Okay,
am
that's
currently.
definitely better. Well, we are also meeting tonight, which would be what, tomorrow at like 11 your time or something.
Yeah.
So, just so you know, if you get tired, you should go. Carol, how are you?
I'm good, Miss Katie.
So
Hi.
good. I'm so glad.
Look what
Very
I got
neat.
today.
OMG, they look so good.
Yes, they do.
Oh, they're so pretty. They're like
Yeah.
a palette of Easter eggs. Jade, she just held up 5 of my contemporary romance books in paperback, and they're all kind of like pastel versions of the like pink or blue or yellow or whatever, so it looks like a whole bunch of Easter eggs.
And
And she's wearing a green shirt that says "Keep calm and read Katie Cross."
Oh
Woohoo.
yeah.
got that today too.
That's awesome. Carrie is also wearing her shirt that has the Miss Mabel's logo on it. That looks awesome.
Yay!
And
Oh, I
Kim
got
just
mine
popped
on.
in, and she has her little troublemaker shirt on.
Ah, yes, I
Ah,
love that one.
I got that one too, Kim. Yeah,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah, good. We think alike, Carol.
I know. It's that Olsen thing. Even if we're not related, it's the Olsen thing.
It is.
Nobody else would understand.
That's right. I forget that you guys share a last name. Oh, that's right. And both of you are Olsons by birth, not marriage. Right?
Correct.
Carol Olsen Long and Kim Olsen Jones. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's spelled exactly the same.
is
Yep.
that where? What's
No,
the
no E in there, and it's O.
yeah?
That's right.
What's the what country does Olsen originate from? Is it Nordic?
Yep.
Denmark and Sweden.
Like the
And
son of
Norway.
Olsen?
Yeah, that's it.
Like Ranelson and McDonaldson and all of those.
Oh, Ollie's son.
Right.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's
Plus,
Oh, look at you.
oh wow, you are sporting it. So Carol also has a coffee mug that is one of mine as well, Jade. That's what she just
I've got to
Oh yeah.
get that.
It's a good
Hey,
one.
hey, Jade, I will get you some information as soon as
Oh
I
yeah.
know a little bit more.
That's alright.
Oh, Australia. I vaguely saw part of your email, Kim. Um, I was finishing up this really epic scene in The Forgotten Gods before I hopped on. So I mailed 2 books, one to Lila, one to Jade last week, and I haven't checked my PO box. I'll probably do that today, but I don't think they've come back.
Okay.
No, it says it's currently open.
Oh yeah, so I think it's open again. So if you need to send something to Ariel, because I think Ariel Park is over in Australia.
Yes, she yeah, she had, and she also sent me an address to her mom in Texas if we couldn't get it to Australia. So
Okay. Yeah, I think they're open because I haven't seen the packages come back, but I haven't checked my PO box. I'm gonna do that today. My son's school is having me come talk to them, so I'll drive by the post office box then. But
yeah, Jade's just interested in a spa kit.
oh my gosh,
Yes.
so amazing. My sister-in-law loves baths, so she takes a bath every day, and she was living with us for 6 weeks. So I just set the stuff out there, and it's like gone. I'm
You know,
happy
the
for her
little
that she used it, but I'm like, hey.
the little dragon fairy might have to send you some more.
Oh, well, I think everyone should get a spa kit because they're so fun. And then the Luteus's lip balm. I still think that's my favorite. I love everything you do, especially the lotion, but the lip balm I think is my favorite. It's so good.
I got to
My
get me
daughter
some
has
of
a friend, and my gosh, she goes through it like it's water.
Yeah, it's amazing. And Debbie, we didn't say hi to you. How are you?
that. I'm good.
Wait, what book are you on now?
I'm chapter 6 of Freedom.
Oh, you're getting there. Okay.
We love
Yeah.
those chapter 6s.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes,
it does seem
6 is
like
a good number.
people in this call are always like around a 6, it seems like. And that was
I wanted to have it done by this morning, but life, man.
plus Freedom is a big book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's a big one. And so chapter 6, you're just getting started, sister. Like,
I know. I wanted to be done by this morning, but I just didn't get there.
it's
Yeah,
a-
I'm in the middle of the audio for Freedom right now.
so good. I love it. I was listening to the audiobook of Freedom, and I was like trying to figure out how I'm gonna mimic her voices when we do the Sister Witches series, like for the audiobooks. Anyway, because she does so good with her Sana and Isadora. Like Stephanie,
She does do pretty good with those.
I really like them. Anyway, it's a super gloomy, foggy, rainy day here today. It's
Here too.
beautiful. It's beautiful, but now I'm like, I just want to like curl up with an audiobook. Like, just sound like I'd just love to go listen to Freedom again because there's so many good scenes in Freedom.
I know.
You know what-
Well, again,
you know
it's
what-
like I told you before. I shouldn't listen to that one. Well, I do because driving because that's when I have the time. But then I see this fun thing I want to write down, so I'm trying to write quotes down out of the book while I'm driving.
Oh my gosh, Kim, you cannot be unsafe because we need you to come to all the calls.
I got home and
Over.
I'm like, I can't even read my own writing.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, Mike and Catherine are here. Oh, Catherine can't hear us. Oh, there she is. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Mike. Welcome. Debbie.
Mike, you did awesome in the trivia again, my man.
Yay.
Woo-hoo! Yes.
Yes, that was
Yay.
great questions. A few of those had us looking.
Yep.
What I want you guys to do is look.
Yeah, that's what he's always like. Like he'll give me the questions. I'll be like, Mike, you can't ask them that one. That one's really hard. He's like, they need to look. I'm like, all right, throat puncher. We call him our resident throat puncher. He's always offering to take care of the bad guys for us. Debbie, you were about to say something when we were talking about the Freedom audiobook.
And because I bought him an ebook, but when I open the PDF, I can have it read aloud to me. So
Cool.
like having on, but you have to like pick your voices, and some of them sound really computerized, and they pronounce the words really funky.
Yeah.
Yep. Welcome to my life.
Anyways,
Like I live this every day.
Yeah. Screen readers. Gotta love them.
Yeah.
I
guess-
picked a British voice,
Oh.
but they don't pronounce the F's. Like instead of find, they always just say ND.
Yep.
Weird.
So if I'm that way, I can listen while I'm doing other stuff.
Yeah. That's crazy. Well, and then in fantasy books, you get all these wonky names like Dea Silva.
Yeah. And
Right?
it pronounces them so weird. It's like, what was I saying? I think I was saying Luteus because of how it was pronouncing it. And I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right.
Instead of Luteus, Luteus.
Yeah.
Yes,
like, okay.
I noticed that too. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm always like, how do these sound? Because I know when I read it, but then I'm like, is that really the way Katie wants it to
Yeah.
sound?
There's
And it's
in
PRANA, not PRANA.
Yeah, Prana, and then in Merrick, the bad guy is Jody, but a lot of people thought he was Jote because I spell it Jote, and I say it Jody, but it looks like Jote.
Oh, my screen reader probably would pronounce it as Hote.
Oh,
Oh.
that's even better, Hote.
Hey, I gotta fly.
What'd you say, Mike?
I gotta leave. I'm driving, but I gotta leave now. I just wanted to pop in and say hello.
You're awesome. It was so good to see
Have a
you
great
thanks,
day,
Mike.
on trivia.
Harry Potter.
Victoria's here.
Hi.
Hello. Hey, did you see that you were a spa kit winner?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I still can't believe it.
She's already sent me all of her information.
Oh,
so
good.
yeah. I'm
Victoria's
hoping
like,
to have-
I'm on it. I want it right
I'm
now.
so on it. Yeah.
I'm hoping to have it sent out to you, Victoria, on Monday. We'll cross fingers on that one. So
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
when you live in the middle of Wyoming, it's not so easy.
You promise nothing.
yeah, yeah, that's true, Carol.
I mean, it is the post office, right, in the U.S. So
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Because you can't, can you send UPS, Kim? Do you have a place that like has FedEx or anything?
You know, we used to well, our local print shop here has a FedEx, but we used to have the hardware store here in town had a UPS, and they quit doing it. So now they have a stupid little box that only the flat things can go in. It's like, okay, how are you supposed to ship things UPS when
Yeah.
most of the time you have something a little bigger than a flat box?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Hey, Daniel, welcome. Good to see you.
Hello, sorry, the meeting's at like full volume, so I'm trying to turn it down.
You don't want to hear us at full volume in your ears? Seems
Oh,
weird.
come on, Daniel, what's the deal?
Come on, you're a college student. Don't you like to party?
You have a point.
Catherine, how are
Up
you
kind of
doing?
late last night.
For sure.
Catherine, how are you?
Oh,
You're a little frazzled, my friends.
This has been National Small Business Week. I don't know if you knew that.
Mm-mm.
So there was a 4-day online virtual event hosted by the Small Business Administration and SCORE. And they had this huge platform, and there were companies and government agencies, and it sucked away a lot of my time. So I've actually got the laptop sitting on a box so that you can't actually see off to the side the pile. I have like this much mail from 3 days that I have to sit and process. And
Wow, girl.
well, remember, I inherited individuals last year that I have one in hospice who's got dementia in a
Oh.
facility in one state. I've got 2 that live here. So dealing with the medical and the Medicare and the legal stuff and the facilities. I mean, I get mail daily on this stuff.
Oh,
And so
wow.
in addition to trying to manage my business and have a life, I have all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing the right
Yeah.
thing coming here instead of addressing the
That's
mail.
why, that is exactly why you were on my calendar on Friday, because it gives me a diversion that reminds me there's life outside.
Yes.
There's a magical world I can go to
Always.
that is somewhere else than where I'm at right now. This is it's hilarious. So I was just having this conversation with a lady today. So this is one trip to Costco for pharmacy stuff.
Holy Moses.
Yeah,
He's
that was
holding
just
up a
this
big
week,
bundle
just
of
this
papers.
week, just like one of the
Wow.
trips to Costco. So this is the, in addition, so that's why it's over on the side where you can't see it, because I have a lot of envelopes to open and things to file and bills for them to pay.
Let me make you feel better. I am also on a big cardboard box, so you also can't see my mess.
Yes. This is like, cleaning by cardboard box. If I can put in a box, I don't have to look at it, or at
That
least
works,
it doesn't have to sit in the pile on my
We
immediate
don't know how to work
space.
angles.
Yeah,
So
that
I
actually
can-
works.
Yeah, it does work. It does
Denial
work.
is a
Hi,
lucky
Garrett.
Hey guys,
What's up, Garrett? Are you feeling
Hey,
better?
I was gonna say, Garrett, are you feeling better?
I'd say better than I was at the beginning of the week.
You didn't sound
Oh,
so good.
good.
Okay.
No, it was just the crud going. A house full
Oh.
of people with colds and sore throats and all that fun jazz. So
Ross, are you back to driving and stuff now? Did you get time off work?
I went home from work early on Monday, but otherwise I've been working the rest of the week.
Oh, Lordy.
Sucks. I have to. Oh, here's Andy. You guys are gonna get a little tour of my tiny little house. I have to
While
show
you're
you.
doing that, Katie, I'll show you what I woke up to this morning if you can see it.
Okay. Is that blue sky in Wyoming? What?
I don't know if you
Kidding.
Well,
Hello, you
actually,
guys.
I'm not sure if I'm showing it, if I can see the right thing there. Can you see? My greenhouse decided to, the
Oh,
wind decided to take the roof off my greenhouse.
Oh
no. I
no.
saw that. Oh,
So
bummer.
your greenhouse no longer has a roof?
No,
Oh.
That's a bad
Yeah,
morning.
so
Oh,
that
that's
was, that was a nice
awful.
thing. I ran some errands yesterday and came home to that mostly off. So this morning, it was the rest of the way off. So I had to deal with heat this morning.
Oh.
Just in time to put stuff in the greenhouse, perfect timing.
Is it for all your witchy concoctions and brews that your kids are always talking
Some
about?
of it, yeah.
That's funny. Well, does this make you feel better?
Oh, so
Oh.
cool.
That
Jade,
is
Jade and
awesome.
Daniel, I'm holding up the sign that Garrett made. It's a wooden sign that says
Oh
"Don't
yeah, that.
make
Yeah.
no promises," and it has a really cool dragon on it. It's so cool. And then my father-in-law is here because remember he has to help me with my map. I don't know if you guys remember Terry and I talking about that.
Yes.
Here's the Team Merrick sign that Garrett made.
Woohoo! I love
That's
it.
awesome.
Are you enjoying the view, Andy?
Of course she is.
Andy's here. Hi, Andy. You're frozen, but hello. Garrett.
Hey guys.
My.
Did you sign them?
Really quick
Are you there, Andy?
to see how it all was going. I have to go out and I still have to get ready. Kind of a long day today.
It's all
a lot
good.
of errands to run, but those signs look amazing.
No, my family was super impressed, Garrett, and they're not easy people to impress. So
Is Garrett on?
Yeah, Garrett's on.
Garrett, those signs are wow. Like
So cool.
wow.
Yeah.
Maybe you get to win them.
No.
I hope so.
I'm pondering. I'm thinking probably in the middle of May, like not next week, but the week after that, we'll just have people enter, like do something and enter a raffle and we'll just pull it. But I'm still noodling. So if anyone has ideas on something fun we could do to win them, let me know.
I say that we go by the book. As in, right now, Ignis is the big thing. So the person with the most volcanoes gets to choose one. In their-
Oh, Andy, aren't you by a volcano?
How did you manage that?
Oh, I think Andy's really just getting up for some swag here.
I thought I was super clever, Andy.
That was very good, Andy. Very
The
good.
person closest to a volcano wins.
Yeah. Or with the most volcanoes.
I will not forget to sign them. Oh
Here
my
in
God.
Illinois.
You know what's so funny is I just finished editing this really big scene between Ignis and Bianca and the Forgotten Gods. So when you said that, because it involves fire, when you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, is Andy in my brain? Like I was editing like a scene with Bianca and Ignis. That is so crazy. Oh my God.
Well, truthfully, Daniel would be close too, just because they're dormant volcanoes. There's a bunch of volcanoes over in Washington and Oregon.
That's true.
Just saying, just because they're dormant.
Daniel, fight back.
Well, in Wyoming, there's that dome, right? So
well, there's
you could,
a like
you could create
Well, the whole
it's that
Yellowstone
blue.
is so massive.
Yeah, there you go. Yellowstone's one big massive magma.
Yeah,
That's true.
Kim and I can fight over it then.
Yes, yes.
I'm on one side of Yellowstone, she's on the other.
Katie's pretty close. Yes.
I know as the crow flies, I don't know if I'm closer than you.
I was gonna say who's closer.
No.
We don't have volcanoes in Ohio, but we volcano our mulch around our trees. So every
Oh,
tree in our
Rachel.
neighborhood has a volcano mulch. If that
There you
counts,
go.
then, I'm in.
Yeah, Debbie, you're out of luck in Central Illinois.
Call that metaphorical.
Volcanoes.
Well,
I'm liking this.
Debbie, we're just in the path of volcanoes here in South Dakota. So I'm hoping that
Well, Carol,
know.
Kim and I will be coming to you when Yellowstone explodes.
you get your butt over here. Yes,
Like
absolutely.
like
Get your cars
literally.
and come.
Well, neither of
In
us
the
will
wind,
probably
we'll be
make it.
coming to you.
Yeah, neither of us is going to make it when Yellowstone explodes. We'll be gone.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think much of South Dakota is going to be left either if that thing is as big as they say it is.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's
You
pretty
can all
cool.
come here.
I mean, it's a good way to go,
The
right?
snow
It's like
will
the
put it out.
dragon awoke. So, like, there's that, I think, right? Oh, Shelly is here, and so is Mason. Hello. Wait, or is that Jane? Is Mason Jane?
It's Jane.
Okay, I was like, wait. I think Mason
I'm
is
trying to
Jane.
get on my iPad so I can join, but
Jane, you're amazing. All of the, I don't know if you guys saw the post that Jane has been doing in the Witchery about the Barnes and Noble stuff. We'll have to review that in a bit. But I want to say hi to
Yes.
Shelly. Shelly, it's been a while. How are you, my friend?
Good. How are you?
Wait,
Hi,
what's
Shelly.
the temperature in Northern Canada?
It is plus 13 today.
I was gonna
Oh,
say,
heat wave.
heat wave, man.
It was -4 last time you were on, I think.
Yeah.
Ouch.
That's
I
funny.
still got snow in some places.
That's crazy.
Ew, keep it.
So I said, you can come to, if you can come here. The snow will put it out.
Yes, yeah, there you go. Well, we're in spring and we're about to go right into smoke, right? Like,
Yep.
I think the mountains go from spring to smoke, not spring to summer. So I'll have you send me that snow here shortly.
We're hoping for no smoke this year. 6 years ago, Fort McMurray almost burned off the map. So
Wow.
this is our 6-year anniversary.
Of,
Oh, wow.
of not burning off the map. That's a good one.
So
two years ago, my house, we almost lost our house to a wildfire. We were evacuated twice, a couple weeks at a time. The second one was 2 or 3 weeks. The first one was like a week. Anyway, to the biggest, what's now the biggest wildfire in Colorado history. It was huge. It was racing like 75,000 acres a day. It was crazy. But Jade knows all about that because Australia is always getting
Yep.
fired.
Fires, even in winter.
Yeah. Guess that's what happens when you live in the outback. Well, Jane, I think, let's see, we got you on 2 of them, right? Hi.
no, I got out of the other one, I think.
Oh, we have a Mason
not?
connecting right now. So maybe it's an actual Mason. Anyway, so Jane, did you have any questions about that whole Barnes and Noble stuff? I don't know if you guys saw, but basically, long story short, Jane talked to Barnes. Jane, why don't you tell it?
Okay, I got Barnes and Noble's gift cards for my birthday. So I said, well, I don't have the Health and Happiness Society, which is one of my favorite series.
That's my,
So
that's
I
my
ordered
chiclet
them.
series. Yeah, that's my chiclet series.
So I ordered them from Barnes and Noble. So when I went in to get them, I told the young lady who was checking me out that they should really carry Katie's books. And she said, well, they look really good. And I started talking about the fantasy books. She said, oh my gosh, I love fantasy. So I said, well, I pulled up a picture of Flame. I said, you need to go to her website and get a free copy. And I said, y'all really should carry her books. And she said, well, it looks like she's an independent author. So we're only allowed 1 book a month from an independent author. And I was like, well, that's not good because you need these books, right?
Jane's like, unacceptable.
Yeah.
Right. So
Exactly.
I emailed corporate, waiting to see if I get a response back.
Very sweet email that she CC'd me on. So a few things here. The Barnes and Noble fight is endless and bloody, right? These are always fighting this because there's a lot of reasons I kind of went into in a reply on the Facebook group, but suffice it to say they're a corporation, right? And the bottom line is the dollar, which it has to be when you have a company that big. And that's why I don't go through traditional publishing to bring you books, because there's no way you would be getting a book a month if I were traditional, right? Like we'd be lucky to do a book a year if I were kind of tied to a publisher. So that's a big reason why. But one idea that I had that is really funny, and I think we could make this happen, and I've seen other authors do this as an experiment, is they ordered all these paperback books and they put like bookmarks in them, and then they would just take them to their local Barnes and Noble and just put it on the shelf, like where it would go. So you like go to young adult fantasy and you would like put Flame where Katie Cross would go and you just leave it there. And then there was like a note in there that said, when you buy this book, email me and let me know. And then it has like my email address. And then they'll go up to the front to buy it. And it has a barcode, but they'll scan it and it won't be in the system. So it's really confusing to them. Like, why is this book here? but then like you can have a price built into the barcode. So the price comes up. So Barnes and Noble will just get some free money, right? But then they have to look it up. And then they can see like if the barcode is sold in other systems, I think. So I had this author, this nonfiction author that I followed that did this. I think he would do this at any Barnes and Noble in the area. And then he had some of his team, like his launch team, basically. Like he would just mail them copies and they would go put it in their Barnes and Noble. And then they
That's
waited for the
great.
emails to come in.
Awesome.
And I was like, we should do that. Because I actually just got a whole shipment of books back from one of my printers that bookstores had ordered, like bookstores like Barnes and Noble's ordered. But then there's like, they just get stuck on a shelf. And if they don't sell within like 90 to 120 days, they just ship them back and they get their money back. But then I have to pay for those, which is fine because then we can do something like this, right? And just start putting the books in a bookstore. And then like the bookstore's like, well, people are trying to buy it because like someone brought it up. Anyway, it's more like a joke than anything else. But the cool thing is there's no way to like track that down, right? Like they can't get mad at me.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah, they got free money out of the deal.
right, yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so I was like, well,
Reverse.
I should. It is reverse that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was like, I should bring that up on the call, and we should organize people that would be willing to take a book into their Barnes and Noble, and then I'll
Hey,
send you guys the books
I am all about it.
and see what happens. Wouldn't that be funny?
That would be so cool, but there's no.
You know, a
Yeah.
crueler thing
Can I-
to do
for
is
this.
to have 2 of your trilogy books, but not the 3rd one on the shelf.
Or the middle one.
Oh, there you go, Victoria.
Oh.
Diabolical.
I
That-
know, I
oh.
know.
Oh, that's
Wouldn't the middle one be worse though? Because then you'd be like, wait, where's the second one? Why isn't it here? Like,
I think if you got
Yeah.
the first 2,
Yeah.
and
What did
not
I
the last
miss?
one, they'd go
Hold
for
the
sure
second one.
freedom. If they would definitely go in search of freedom, because if they got all the
Oh,
way
yeah.
right.
yeah,
Andy,
true.
Andy, what were you saying?
There's no Barnes and Noble here, and
No, there's not here
the
either.
one here it's called Sophos, and I asked if they had them, and then again, you have to order them, and they were like charging me like almost the same amount of the book for shipping, and I was like, excuse me. So if you send me a copy, I will go put it in their shelf because they only have two big stores here.
Yeah.
But I have to go, guys. I have to take my computer to service.
Oh,
But I will be on
Oh,
tonight,
boy.
right?
Bye.
See you tonight, Andy.
See you later then,
Bye,
Andy.
guys.
And it doesn't have to be Barnes and Noble, right? It could be any bookstore. It's just easier in a big box chain bookstore like Barnes and Noble because there's so many books that.
So how does that work with public libraries?
What do you mean?
I was just gonna
Like-
say that, ask
like-
that, Garrett.
Like, I guess I don't know, public libraries, do they just order their own books or do
Oh,
they just donate? I don't really go to public libraries a whole lot, so.
yeah, so it's kind of both. So libraries can order the books from, so the printer that bookstores like Barnes and Noble or libraries or schools or whatever would buy the books from is called Ingram Spark. Ingram Spark is the only printer that allows books to be returned. And then you have like it say like books can be returned, which means I agree to pay whatever the production of those books cost that might have been returned. So if a bookstore were to order like 300 books and only sold 100, I would get 200 and have to pay for them. So it's kind of risky because you never know when it's going to come in. But libraries can also order from there too and get their books in because I think they actually might get like a little bit of a discount as a library. And so they just buy their own copy or they're donated. I know some libraries, it just depends on their collections like system, but some will just buy from Amazon. I think some of my readers have had their libraries buy from my website because the libraries might have like a certain budget every month for new books.
Mhm.
And you can like apply saying I want this book and they'll kind of go through and decide. Or there's a website called Overdrive that you can like rent ebooks from and audiobooks. Some of you might know about Overdrive. It's like an online library where you can like through your library connect to Overdrive and borrow ebooks and audiobooks. Overdrive has a separate like system where they can buy ebooks from me for like it's like double the price because they pay for it once, but then like hundreds of thousands of people are going to read it. So they pay like $15 or $20 for my ebook, but then they have it for the rest of forever kind of deal. So a lot of authors get kind of frustrated about libraries because they feel like they're losing a lot of money because people can borrow books without buying them. But I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
yeah,
Because
that
the
is
people
Pick
who
out
are
a
going to
book,
go
you
use
love
the
it,
library
you're
are
gonna-
not necessarily the same that's going to go buy the book.
right.
Right.
You're in an audience that
Or
might
you
not
could
buy
read it at the library and want to buy them all.
Exactly. I
Yep.
think it creates a potential cadre of readers
Mhm.
for
Absolutely.
you to have them available through a library.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
give you an example of myself. So obviously, you guys all know I do the audio, right? Well, back when I was younger, I would go to the library and get them on cassettes or CDs. But then I would get frustrated because you have to wait how long on the waiting list to get the next book, right? So then I would beg and plead with my parents to get the next book. So eventually I would get the next book, and then I would start getting them purchased rather than going through the library. But I would always start with a new book through the library, and then that's where it would expand to, would be me getting either my parents or myself, whichever, purchasing the next books in the series through audio. But I
Yeah.
always started at the public library.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think authors that see competition and issues with libraries are not in the publishing market for the right reason. Because like the goal here really like is to get more books into the world and create escapism and spread goodness, right? So I love supporting libraries however I can, because we were all that like lonely kid once that escaped into books, right? And probably we're always at the library. So I'm ecstatic when libraries get my books, and I want to get more into libraries because that's an amazing way to like put goodness back into the world. So if you ever run into authors that are complaining about libraries hurting their business, then run away from that author because they don't care about you.
Well, and I think there's other, not necessarily as much for fiction, but for nonfiction. There was a publisher for some research that I was going to do, and they wanted, in fact, there was a series, and they wanted my research to become a book in their series. But they wanted to be able to sell it because it had an academic component to it for like $67 to $98, right? Because if you're a student and you're forced to buy a book because you're in a class, it costs a lot of money. And I said, that's not who I write for.
Yeah.
I want to sell my book for like $15, right? Not because it's not worth $67, but because I want it accessible to the people who need the information, but maybe don't have the $67 to spend.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that idea of understanding the indie publishing market as a different space is not just because there's so much more to the ability to put material out and do it with a personal connection like you do, right? It becomes a community. It becomes a place where we come have coffee, right? Because the other person may or may not go out and create community. They may or may not have a publisher that works in the same way. And specifically the ones that go for the academic, it's a lot harder. If you get to the ones that do corporate books, like Barrett Kohler does the corporate market a lot, then they price them for airport books, and you can go to the airport and you buy a book on the way if you get your plane. But when you're talking about anything that has an academic component, they way overprice the books for the cost of publishing them.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but it's cool that there are people that kind of take a stand to it, right? There are authors that are like, no, I'm here for the reader, and so we're going to build a business structure that kind of goes down, for sure. Yeah. Well, Chris, welcome to the call, Chris. Good to see you. Hey, did you get all set?
Okay, go sound now.
Awesome. Well, welcome. I'm glad you stopped by. Is this your first time on the call?
Is this the first time on your call?
Oh, it's the first Zoom call, the first time with you.
Oh, fun. Welcome.
I've got my daughter alongside me. Telling me what
wonderful.
To do.
Also welcome. Where in the world are you, Chris?
I'm in the Isle of Wight in the UK.
In the UK. Okay, awesome. Yeah, we have another person that comes from the UK, Louise, but she's not here today. She normally pops in, but we haven't seen her yet. So welcome. That's awesome.
I've got a very quick question.
Sure.
If I may ask, is that I don't know how to give sorry, what I want.
A review?
A review, yeah, of the last book,
Mm.
the PRANA one, because you say not to do it on the one of the group one.
Oh, the launch team one. Yeah. So there's two books out there basically. There's the regular PRANA book to review, and then the one that's discounted to 99 cents for launch team members, that one's going to go away in like a week once everyone's bought it. So the review just wouldn't be shown anywhere. So I can email you the exact link to the one to review. Let me see.
Right, okay.
That'll make it easy. Oh, here you are. I can just pop an email real quick. Yeah, thanks for doing that. Sorry if it created more confusion.
Hey, Katie.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I've been wondering, seeing you on these chats and on the YouTube videos and stuff that you make. I kept thinking to myself, you look like a witch in one of your stories, but who are you? And I finally figured it out. You are Marie. I see
I'll
you
take
as
that.
Marie.
I will take that. I'm going to return to that just a sec. Chris, I emailed you just now. All you have to do is click the link, and that's the product for you to review for PRANA.
Right, okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's Victoria, that's a fantastic observation, and I will take that. I maybe without the death, but
yeah, you can do without that part. Huh?
Yeah, I can do without that part. You know,
pretend that never happened.
It's but yeah, it's not a big deal. It's not life changing and dictates the rest of the series by any means. The interesting thing about that is, if I had to choose a character, I probably would have chosen Marie too. That's interesting. Partly because when I actually wrote Miss Mabel's School for Girls, I was more in Marie's position than Bianca's, because my husband, I don't know if any of you know this, but my husband was in the military, but he was a Green Beret. So he was in the US Special Forces. And we were going through all the training and all the stuff that meant at the time. And I think I was just subconsciously processing all of that, like through Derek and Marie's relationship, and just like unrolling it in my mind. I didn't see that until much later. It's so obvious to me now. But because of that, I think I've always aligned with Marie the most. And I see Bianca more as like a daughter to me as I write her books.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of afraid that I'm actually raising Bianca. I don't know if you guys have heard it. This is going to be real interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe Warrior Princess will calm down soon.
No, she's not. Nope.
I was going to say, I've actually said that at 5 months. I remember one day when she was 5 months old, I was like, oh no, who is this? When did she get so sassy? So at about 5 months, I knew that I was in trouble. And so for the last 2.5 years, almost 3 years now, I've been like, oh no, like, this hasn't faded. It's actually growing in strength. But it's fine. Yeah. I want her spunky. I just have to figure out how to channel it. That's all.
Yeah.
But the other day, Victoria, you emailed me about Mildred's resistance. And
yes.
So
I emailed you a lot.
That's okay. It's totally fine. I have to crack a window. We started a fire and it's like so hot. So I thought you guys might be interested in the real story behind Mildred's resistance. Have I told anyone of you how that book almost didn't see the light of day?
And I think I read that in one of your introductions for the short stories.
I actually hated that book more than anything.
Really?
Yeah. So I
enjoyed it.
It's
yeah,
actually
it was
my
good.
favorite. Almost across the board, when I ask about a favorite book, people say Mildred's Resistance, or I just get emails from readers writing in saying this is my favorite of all your books, which is just goes to show I have no idea what's going on. So what happened with Mildred's Resistance is it the story sort of surprised me as I was writing Alcara Awakening, and all of you know how that works for me, right? Like I'm writing Ava, it turns into Prana, like I'm writing The Forgotten Gods, and all of a sudden I have all these other novellas coming. That happened, but it was like the first time that a story had ever found me like that. So I started writing Mildred's Resistance and Alcara Awakening, and I was trying to juggle 2 projects. Anyway, it was my first time writing third person, and it was an intricate plot. So it was basically a bunch of different storylines put together, which I hadn't done before, because Bianca is first person. So it's just Bianca and what she sees. So it's just a more difficult book, a little more challenging. And I remember going to Starbucks one day and I messaged my friend who is a really prolific science fiction author. And she writes these plot lines that have like 13 points of view. I mean, they're just these epic space operas. And I was like, I desperately need your help. So she met me at Starbucks and taught me how to like do it, basically, how to have a lot of plot lines, different characters, viewpoints, time, passage, all that kind of stuff. And I had to just pour all of this like learning and agony into it because I just didn't know what I was doing. So by the time I finished Mildred's Resistance, I sent it to my editor and I said, I think it's total garbage. Like, I don't think I'm any good at this. Like, I don't think this, I think I just wasted a bunch of time on this story. And I'm sad because the story deserves better than I'm treating it. Like, my skill isn't up to this level. She's like, go take a break. Like, go take a vacation or something. Let me handle this. So I was like, okay. So Catherine took it for like 3 weeks and she wrote back and she had like, this was an early edition. She had like 10 pages of like just changes that she suggested, which it needed. And I just remember looking at her suggestions and thinking, I don't know if this book is going to make it. Right. And so I didn't even read her suggestions for like days. And then I went back to it and I read it and I realized that like Mildred's story had to be this way because Mildred's life was this way. So it actually took me closer to the story once I like stepped back and got some perspective. And I was like, oh no, we're doing this. Like this book is going to come out and it's gonna be the best book I've written so far. So I like gathered my crate back up and I rewrote it and I fixed it and I cleaned it. And by the end, I was like so happy with it. Even though I was tired of it, I was happy with it. And then I had no idea what would happen when I launched into the world. I was like, I don't know if anyone's going to like this, but I've worked so hard. I'm just going to put it in the world. And so I put it out there. And to this day, which is like 6 or 7 years later, it's still like a fan favorite. Like of all the books, it's usually in people's top 3, which is just really funny because I thought like I couldn't rise to the challenge that the book required, but it totally worked. And then I was like, oh my gosh, it's like my own Mildred experience because that's Mildred's story, right? Anyway, that's the story of that book. But I'm glad I don't have to write it again. Not gonna lie.
But I will tell you, it made me even more so want to know more about Mildred and Martin.
Yeah.
And I've been curious about them in the other books, but after reading that, it's like, okay, you have to write this book or I'm heading to Montana and I'm going to be like, you're writing it. I'll keep it. You just get down and start writing.
I'll bring you, Jane. I'll hand you my children.
I will take them. I will take them. Bree would love it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, so Mildred and Martin, it's on my docket for this fall.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so that'll come out. In my brain, we're not going to totally spoil Mildred and Martin because there are people here that haven't read and probably don't know this, but the meaty story behind Mildred and Martin that you find out in War of the Networks is going to be the gist of the novella.
Yay.
So you'll be able to kind of get more of them for sure. And
you know, the writing is really good when your readers invest in. I wonder which actor is going to play Martin. I'm on the hunt finding perfect Martin. And the one, yeah, he's a bald head. That he Martin here.
I love that. Who do you picture as Martin?
Cool.
What actor do you picture as Martin?
Who, me? I haven't found him yet. I'm still going through the casting calls.
Do you want to know who I pictured when I wrote the book?
Yeah.
Ben Kingsley.
Nice.
Really?
God.
Yes.
Yes.
Ben
He
Kingsley,
is
the
so
guy who played
good.
Gandhi.
Yes.
But he's too old.
Let me
Well,
picture him.
I just read the short story where they met, or was, I don't know. I'm getting all the stories mixed up now, but
There's a lot of them. So I picture like this sort of this age version of Ben Kingsley.
That could totally be Martin, like in the later years.
Yeah, I think so.
He's got to go through some training now to beef himself up, but
a wee bit skinny in some of these, but Martin is slender. He's more of a politician and a diplomat than like a warrior like Derek. I mean, Martin,
your description of Derek,
like certainly helped Derek. Who do you picture?
Oh,
as
me
Derek?
too.
Who do you picture as Derek?
no idea yet.
I don't know.
Somebody dreamy.
Russell Crowe or who's the other one? Debbie?
Yes.
Who was it?
Gerard
Gerard
Butler.
Butler.
Thank you, Gerard Butler. I was like,
Gerard
we were
Butler.
just talking
Yeah.
about
I would
this.
choose Gerard Butler.
Russell
Yeah.
Crowe.
Every day.
No, Gerard Butler.
Gerard
Oh,
Butler was
Russell
the
Crowe.
original one, but sometimes I think Russell Crowe gets in the way.
Gerard Butler,
the
he can keep his
Gladiator
accent.
Russell Crowe. Like they're all getting
Yes.
older now, so this is like Phantom of the Opera, Gladiator, like those versions. And then Judi Dench is Mildred, obviously. From the second Mildred appeared in Miss Mabel's, it was Judi Dench.
Sana.
Oh, that's perfect.
Laura, I don't have in my head.
Oh my gosh.
Sana?
I have this
That's
cute,
so
like,
funny.
old Sana and old Isadora. I have these cute little old ladies that I used to go visit in a nursing home in my head. They were just
bring them
talk to them, so they've passed on. But I picture her name is Hazel, actually, right? So
my
I
niece's
named
name.
Hazel after my friend. What'd you say, Jane?
I said I love the name Hazel. I have a niece Hazel. I love that name.
It's a really cute name, and I'm halfway through narrating the audiobook.
Oh,
Who's
good.
Jared Butler, Katie?
Gerard Butler is Derek.
Derek.
Wait, who do you picture as Derek?
Sean Connery.
No.
That would be
Who?
a Martin. He'd be a Martin.
Oh,
Don't you think?
Who?
Oh, I don't know.
Sean could be a Martin also.
Sean Connery?
Yeah, I could see that. I could get around that.
Didn't he die?
He did, but you know,
he's not dead.
I'm like, wait a minute.
I know he did, but that's who I picture.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You're so behind.
Hey, Katie, you need a character specifically for Aquafina. She has got to be in one of your stories somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I originally
I
pictured
love
Sanako as Aquafina. That is
You
so
pictured-
crazy you say that. So Sanako in my head was originally Aquafina, but then Sanako changed on the page, so it just didn't like correlate. But like her face structure and stuff, that's how I picture Sanako.
And who is Sanako?
Honestly, I think Prana could be Aquafina.
Oh yes.
Okay, who is Aquafina?
So let me pull up Aquafina. She is
That would probably be good
He
because I'm
would be
old.
good.
I have no
I
idea
want to
who
know
she is.
who's Sanako.
Sanako is in Priscilla.
Oh, okay, haven't gotten there yet.
she's the librarian.
Oh, okay.
Work.
Now it helps that she plays the dragon in Raya,
Yes.
and that dragon was an excellent swimmer. She was a water dragon.
Also,
Yes.
Aquafina is in the new Jumanji. So
Yes.
the second like remake of Jumanji with
Oh my gosh, she was so funny. We
Yeah.
just watched that.
she's
Yeah.
kind of a comedian. She's really funny, but she would do Prana really well because she's really good with like the spunky characters. Like she's just really
Oh, yeah.
she's really spunky on the screen. She's really funny. I love Aquafina.
My butt is to my head.
Yeah, so Aquafina, I actually originally pictured as Sanako or Prana. Like she was kind of in my head between the two. I mean, sometimes it changes. Like, they kind of rotate around a little bit. Trying to think if there's anyone else that I picture really clearly. Lita was like a Luna Lovegood-esque, the actress that does Luna
Yes.
Lovegood. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
not Luna herself, but just the Luna Lovegood actress, like with her hair and stuff. That was always
Right.
Yeah.
for Lena. Just that more slight.
That's who I picture every time I read about Lita is her.
So glad.
I do too.
Right from
Same
the
thing.
beginning.
I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like Luna.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I'd put Sean Connery as Maximilian.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh.
Too old.
Victoria.
No. Well, he was younger at one time, Victoria, my dear. Have you
Yeah,
seen
but
the
there's,
younger
we can't
Sean
go
Connery?
back
He's
to when
damn
he was just
handsome.
we
He
can't
was
go back
pretty-
to that time.
He was pretty
Yeah, you
handsome in them
can.
too. I
was.
do
He
like
was.
I do like midlife Sean Connery for sure. I could get around that. Henry Cavill was my
Ooh.
Maximilian.
Ooh.
Henry
Poor
Cavill could
Henry.
be anything. You just put him in there, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I don't even care.
Jane's
Put him
like
in there.
everyone's Henry Cavill.
That's right.
Hear him
Maybe
again,
all over the
Katie. Who's
place.
He
he?
could be a dragon and I'd
I'm
be
pulling him
happy.
up for you,
Man.
Carol.
Oh,
Because I'm way out. I'm in left field.
Superman.
Oh, he's
yeah,
He's
he's the Superman.
British. He is British.
Oh my, hello.
Yeah,
There you go. There you go, Carol.
quite delicious. Yes, he is.
So this version of Henry Cavill is the Max I always
Oh.
pictured. Doesn't he look
Oh
like
yeah,
Yes.
he could definitely
That
do that.
could
yeah.
actually get me to like Maximilian. I don't like him right now.
Oh,
I love Maximilian because he's Henry Cavill.
I love him more
especially in
now.
that one picture with the little lock of hair in his face, because Max always had that
I just don't like this.
one lock.
yeah, take off the mustache. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Henry Cavill. He's also the Witcher. So he's Superman too. Like these
He's the Witcher.
Yes.
you didn't know that?
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, so he's the Witcher right there.
Oh my gosh.
So the story about him becoming the Witcher, if any of you aren't familiar with The Witcher, it's a dark fantasy series on Netflix. And it originally started as this game, and it's been a computer game decades, and it was
For
just
years.
the
My
author
son played it.
I tried reading the books, but I just
yeah,
couldn't
they're
get it.
different, right? So anyway, so Netflix just obtained the movie rights, production rights for The Witcher. So they did casting calls, but it was all going to be lesser known actors and actresses because it was a newer thing. Henry Cavill shows up without telling anyone and like tries out for the role of Witcher, and everyone's like, are you kidding? Like no one knew he was coming, and he just loved the computer game. So he just wanted to try it out. And so of course, like he got it and has totally changed like the whole project because his name is so big. Anyway, I love that story. Can you imagine just Henry Cavill? Just
He's a big time gamer.
I didn't know that.
He's a big time gamer.
He is also
He's just gorgeous.
Did you guys see The Count of Monte Cristo like back in like what, the early 2000s or maybe?
Yeah.
Henry Cavill is the son.
Oh my god.
Blew my mind. Yeah. Blew my mind. Anyway, Debbie, hold on to Max. Hold on to Max. You're gonna like him eventually, I think.
Yeah, you will.
That's a great shot of him right there.
That is a good one.
That smirky, quirky.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that Garrett and Chris are like, okay, and Daniel are like, can we move on from Henry Cavill, please? But who here has already read Prana? Is there anyone that's finished? Okay.
I finally got to it yesterday and got her through.
Gosh, Garrett, it's not like you had stuff going on.
Right?
You had a sick household. I can't believe you got to it at all. So there are people that have not read it yet, right?
No, I've not listened yet.
Okay, so we won't do any spoilers on this call. Then.
Getting there.
I do want to know how it went without. Hey, stop. Just a second.
Hey, dog.
I was afraid mine were going to do that.
Mine are sleeping here next to me here so far.
I've got two of them sleeping in here.
Oh, I do too. 2 50-pound footballs sitting next to me.
Sorry about that.
Oh, dang.
My husband is outside and dared to walk by, so all my dogs were like,
how dare he?
The bears are back, right? So they're totally like, I went hiking yesterday and so there's 4 dogs with me because my neighbor's dog comes, and all my dogs are off leash because I literally just walk into the forest because National Forest is behind my house. So no one owns it, and it's just miles and miles and miles and miles and miles of mountains. So I literally just walk into the woods and my dogs are off leash and we just have these trails that we go on. So I'm on this trail and my dog Bridger all of a sudden just stops and is like looking over the edge of the steep slope. And it was like an hour and 20 minutes by myself, not talking, super quiet and beautiful. And normally we make more noise, but we weren't really making that much noise. Bridger's just like kind of gazing off the side. all other 3 yahoos, they're all like 60-pound big dogs, just trotting by. There's a damn brown bear right there. Like,
Holy.
eating. None of them saw it. Like, Bridger's just looking at it like, "Ooh, wonder what that is." I was like, "Hello, why do I bring you if you're not like telling me about the bears?" So then
Wow.
I was like, "Hey." So the bear took off. Like, I could hear it like crashing through the trees once it saw us, because the bear looks back. It's like, "Huh," and so it takes off. And Bridger just trots back on the trail and keeps going. I was like, no one barked, no one alerted. I'm gonna die out here.
Get a dachshund.
Oh
They'll
my
bark. Dachshunds will bark at the leaves falling. So you will always know if there's someone or anything anywhere near you.
Yeah, my dogs will bark at the birds that hit our windows. Right?
Yes.
So they'll bark at each other, but they won't bark at the bears.
It sounds like Katie, you have
Respecting
too clean of
nature.
windows.
What'd you say, Garrett?
Said it sounds like you have too clean of windows.
That's definitely not the problem. I think we have kind of dumb birds. Like, there are like smears of fingerprints down my windows. So it's definitely not my clean windows. My husband's like, "We really need to clean those." And I was like, "Feel free." And it still isn't. So that's all I'm gonna say. There's a we in there. There was a we in there. And I said, "Yeah, the spray is in the cupboard." And that was a week ago. So I'm gonna say.
I had a neat thing with the birds today.
Yeah.
I have feeders on my windows so that I can watch. And I saw a mama redbird come up. And these 2 other birds were coming like they had just got their wings or something. They're still trying. And one kept falling down from the feeder, and the mom would fall down and she'd fly back up with it and get there and trying to figure out like how to get onto the feeder. But one of them was like, "Haha, I got all the food," you know. And the mom's trying to usher the other one into the feeder. And then my dog looked out from under the covers and it was like, "Rrr!" And I was like, "Really? Really?"
You're like, you're about as large as the bird.
Right, right.
Oh, that's funny. Well, next time Bree can save me from the bear, because apparently these yahoos are.
She will let you know.
Yeah. Well, good, because mine didn't.
You can take it.
Last summer we had the same thing, but we were at a campground with a bunch of people. None of the dogs barked. The bear walked right into the campsite. We all ran to our trailers. Bear climbed up on the picnic table, ate the food off the picnic table, walked away, and he had the stick of butter stuck to his butt.
Going for the good stuff.
That's a good day. That's a good day for the bear. Oh my gosh, that's a bit. Shelly, do you get a lot of moose up there?
Yes.
Yeah, I bet.
Yes, and we get a lot of them dead on the highway from people hitting them.
Oh,
where are you,
there are
Shelly?
moose everywhere. Like, it is.
Yeah,
I'm more afraid of them in the campgrounds than I am of the bears.
That's the funny thing. You know, a person is like familiar with the mountains when they don't care about the bears, but it's the moose they're tracking. Those things are dang mean. And I grew up with them. So I grew up in Idaho, so we had a ton of moose. And I would be playing tag in my grandma's yard, and moose would run out of the neighbor's yard and charge. You know what I mean? Like, we just saw them all the time. And we had a cabin up by Yellowstone, and so there were just moose through my life all the time. And nowadays people are like, "Katie's afraid of moose." And I'm like, "Yeah, because I'm smart." Because humans should be afraid of moose because they are nasty.
That's
But
my mother's
Canadian moose
favorite
are
animal.
something else. They're huge.
Even the babies are huge.
Yes, they are.
They're all ridiculous.
Shelly, where are you?
I am in Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada.
She's the one that on a warm day it was -4. Do you remember that, Jane?
No.
Oh,
Or that it's
maybe
hot,
we're not
or
that
that
close.
it's hot
You
at
know,
55.
I don't have very much short-term memory, so
That's right. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and some calls you aren't on, but every time Shelly comes on, we ask her what temperature it is there because it's 13 right now. So she's doing good.
Wow.
It's the first we've heard it above 0.
Yes. And it's pretty much the first time for us above 0.
So Shelly, is that like in the northern tip of Alberta?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, where I'm right close to what is called the Bridge to Nowhere. And
Okay.
it literally goes nowhere.
Nowhere.
There is pretty much all that is north of me are reserves and stuff like that.
Okay,
Okay.
You know, Fort
Here's-
Chippewa and Fort Mackay, and
right there. Sorry, I've got.
I'm actually in
Okay, so
the
you're right
largest
there.
forest.
Yep.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
It is called the Borealis Forest,
Oh,
and it
wow.
goes right across the world.
Wow, that is cool.
Yeah, you're
Wow,
way up
that
there,
is
Shelly.
awesome.
Jeez.
I'm way up there. Yep.
I'm somewhere over here. You're pretty far away. Yeah.
I was born and raised in Calgary.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then up there.
Everybody's heard of that one, thanks to the Stampede.
Yep.
Yep, that's a good one.
Let's see.
Well, we're having a cool day today at 78.
Oh,
That's
Lord
a cool
Almighty.
day for us this time of year.
Yeah, it is. That
We're a
is-
little cool
My daughter
today.
just got back from
It
her
was
first
88
trip to the
yesterday.
US.
Sorry, like 3 people were talking right there. Kim, what'd you say?
A little cool today. We're in the low 30s.
Oh, bummer. Spring is hard in the mountains. It's really up and down. We were 70 yesterday. We're in the 40s today. That's not so bad.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah, yeah.
Katie, my daughter's going to be coming up your way in the end of June.
She need a place to stay?
She's going up some lake that's up past you.
Oh, Flathead?
Yes, yes. She's going up there, and I said, Katie lives up by there.
Yeah. If she needs a place to stay, she can stay in our RV. In our RV. I can't say that. Our RV. There we go. Yeah, tell her just to let me know. We'd love to have her. We love any of
Yeah.
those Olsons. Just kidding. Anyway, so where let's review just for everyone to know where everyone is in the world. So I'll call your name and you let us know where you are, because Chris is in the UK, but I think that's the only one we reviewed, and we have some non-regulars here today. So Carol, where are you at again?
Rapid City, South Dakota.
City. Kim?
Dar Valley, Wyoming.
Yes, ma'am. Jade?
Western Australia.
Oh, Lila apologized, but she had like some health issues pop up, and she's like, I just don't think I could make it. And I'm like, Lila, go to bed.
Bless her
Go
heart.
to bed. We'll see you tonight.
I know she's gonna come tonight. So Chris, we have Jade and Lila are in Australia, and so it's like midnight their time right now, but they still
It's
come
currently
on.
1 a.m.
Yep, 1 a.m. for Jade. So they still come on to chat, and we're always telling them to go to bed because I do these calls at 7 o'clock at night my time, because it's like 11 o'clock in the morning in Australia. It's 2 o'clock in the morning in the UK then, but they come to both anyway. So they're always just popping in and out. Okay, so Jade is in Western Australia. Catherine, where are you?
South Carolina, in the Charleston area.
Oh, Charleston.
Whereupon we're going to hit a high of 84 today and a
Oh.
40% chance of rain.
How humid? That's the question in the South, not what temperature is it. but how
Yeah,
humid.
it's
Yeah,
all about the
humidity.
humidity.
I lived there. I remember very well. This was not pretty in the South. So I'm gonna say.
I so get it.
Yeah. Victoria, where are you at?
Near Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, Ohio. That's right. Did we have someone else in Ohio? No. Okay, Daniel. Let me remember. Is it Oregon?
Yep, Eugene, Oregon, where it is pouring rain and it's supposed to for like 2 weeks apparently.
I was
Oh.
like,
My.
pretty usual for Oregon, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Shelly, we just talked. She's in Alberta, up in the nether reaches of the world of Alberta. Dane, where are you at?
I am in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Gulfport, Mississippi. That's right. What part?
Down here
Like,
on
is
the
that
coast.
north or south Mississippi?
Oh no, I'm right on the Mississippi Sound, right at the beach.
Oh,
I
okay.
used to vacation there when I was a kid.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I love it. I've lived other places, but this is home. After Katrina, I was like, this is home. I'm staying.
That's awesome.
Okay,
Garrett,
Jane, I was thinking you were in Florida. Who's in Florida?
Dana.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Dana Delaney's in Florida. Garrett, where are you at?
Northeast Iowa.
Iowa. That's right. We have a lot of bread baskets.
But on that note, guys, I will see you guys tonight. I'm at my next stop, so you guys all take care.
It's good to see
See
you,
you
Garrett.
Bye,
later.
Garrett.
See you tonight, Garrett.
Good night.
Keep
Bye.
feeling better.
Thanks.
Debbie. Oh, Leslie's here. What's up, Leslie?
Oh,
Well,
and yeah, I'm in northern central PA in terms of our regions here.
well, what's your weather? That's the next question.
We have rain. Actually, the next like 2 days, we're also getting steady rain.
Same. Wow. It's spring everywhere except for the Australia. Maybe I don't know about the UK, Chris. I don't know if you're in spring yet.
Oh, our weather's pretty good at the moment.
Oh, good. Good. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah. It's 14 degrees, but that's centigrade. So
yeah,
I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit.
somewhere
It's,
around
It's about
40.
Is it 50s, 60?
No idea.
Yeah, high 50s. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I used to know.
I like this outdoors.
Oh, okay.
I just did a 6-mile hike with the dog. And
You're my kind of person.
yeah, well, I live at the western end of the Isle of Wight, and we've got the Needles,
Oh, right.
and so it's about 6 miles away. So I walk up to the Needles and back.
Oh, Isle of Wight.
Nice, Chris. Way to go, dude.
The Isle of Wight has been on my bucket list to visit since I was like 19. So
Oh,
I'll let you
I think you'd love it.
Yeah.
A lot of your scenery and your stories, I relate to it in my walks around the island.
Wild.
Yeah,
Yep.
your trees are much bigger than ours.
I lament that every day in my tiny little forest.
But a lot of my walks, especially if I just read a chapter in the forest, what have you, and then I'm walking along up to Central Hill or whatever, I relate to it because the scenery is what you just described.
Oh, that's amazing.
In our scale.
That's
Oh, I
awesome.
love it.
Yeah, in real time scale. That's
I've got a dog. I've got a Springer Spaniel.
I was about to ask.
Crossed with a Labrador. So her mother is a Springer Spaniel. Her father's a massive Labrador. Basically, I got a Labrador but grow up. And she's about 3 years old now. I'd like her to be here, but she won't come upstairs. It's too warm.
Oh,
I'm upstairs and it gets quite hot up here.
yeah,
But,
sounds amazing.
yeah, she's very, very rather like you've got what we call a Velcro dog, haven't you? The Hungarian.
The Vizsla, yeah.
Yeah, we call them Velcro dogs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, one of them's right here sleeping. We have 3 because we're crazy.
We've got quite a few in freshwater, and so my dog gets on with them really well.
Yeah, I was gonna say your dog sounds like it probably has a lot of energy like mine. Yeah. They're supposed to be like 50 to 60 pounds at the highest, but the breeder that we got ours from just had bigger Vizslas. So my oldest is like 70 pounds. It's really big. It's almost like a Weimaraner. So
70 pounds.
Well, when I come to the Isle of Wight, I'll let you know, and we'll go on a hike together. It'd be so fun.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. So we got Leslie, we got Chris, Debbie. Did we do you? Where are you at?
Illinois, Central Illinois.
Central Illinois. Okay.
It's 50 and rainy today.
Is it rainy everywhere? Seems like it's rainy everywhere.
Seems like it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Not raining in Australia.
Not Jade's like, nope. Hard
And
pass.
it's supposed to be raining.
I love rain. Living in the mountains, we don't get enough of it, so it's always fire season. It seems like that's awesome. Well, for our last coffee with Katie, I gave everyone a sneak peek into my current work in progress. So I read out loud a passage from one of the books. Some of you were on that call. Most of you probably weren't. Would you be interested in something similar today?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Give me more.
I mean, I'd be like,
Always.
I said no, frankly, but I want to give you the opportunity. The question is, which book you want the sneak peek from? So I'm currently working on Derek and The Forgotten Gods, because I have to get The Forgotten Gods to my beta readers. I was supposed to do it today. It's definitely not happening. My poor team, you guys. are so patient with me. So I can give you a sneak peek from either of them. But if you've read Prana, then you've probably read the sneak peek. Sorry, a bird just kamikazed into my window again. If you've read Prana, there's a sneak peek at the end of Derek. So some of you have maybe already read the sneak peek and kind of know what Derek is about. It's really good. If you haven't, or you want to hear me narrate it, on our previous Coffee with Katie call, at the very end, I think if you go to 51 minutes, I read the first chapter of Derek out loud for you, so you could hear it that way too. It's really good.
Yes, it is.
It is really fun. So let's see. What do you guys want to hear from? The Forgotten Gods or Derek?
Forgotten Gods.
Forgotten Gods?
The Forgotten Gods.
Let's vote Forgotten Gods. Hold your hands up so I can see them if you want forgot. So, 1, 2, 3. So is that okay? I think that wins. Carol's up for anything, I'm sure. All right, let me see if I can pick a scene that's not gonna have a spoiler. Because last time I read the opening scene, didn't I? Yes, I think I did. Hold on, let me look at this one. Oh, that's a good scene. Okay, I've got a good one. Should we wait for Carol to get back?
Did she get off for a minute?
No, she's just gone. We're just looking at her empty house.
In her chair.
Yeah, her chair. Let's see what art she has on her walls. While we're waiting for Carol. Oh, there she is. Carol, we're waiting for you. We can't hear you.
She's muted.
I can't.
I'm sorry. I had to go get a snack.
Oh, you're fine. I was just going to read a sneak peek, but I didn't want to read without you because then you would be lost. Okay, everybody ready? We're going to do a sneak peek. Are you leaving? Okay. So this is chapter 2 in the Forgotten Gods, and it's I don't want to go too far into the book because everything is a spoiler in this book because she goes to Alasia and things happen in the Forgotten Gods. So we're gonna go to the second chapter. In this chapter, basically she's going to visit Martin before she leaves for Alasia. So when the Forgotten Gods opens, there's like 2 scenes, and then she goes to Alasia with Baxter and Ava. So that's not going to be too much of a shocker for anyone. Victoria, do you want me to tell you when we're done? Is this going to be a spoiler for you?
It probably will, because I'm still in the short stories.
Have you read Rise of the Demigods?
I have not.
Okay, then this will be.
But I can log off. I've got an office to clean, so.
Okay, well, you don't have to log off. I could just like message you when we're done. So it's up to you. Like I can just send a message.
Nope, I'll go ahead and log off.
Okay.
It was good to see you guys.
I just wanted to warn you. I didn't want to spoil. Thanks for.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I don't mind jumping off during the spoiler parts because I'll get there when I get there.
You will. No rush at all. Well, congrats on your spa package that you won.
Thank you.
For the trivia. Thanks for participating. And it was so good to see you again. I'm glad you came.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you later. Okay. Anyone else? If you haven't read Rise of the Demigods, then this will be a little bit of a spoiler for that book. So if you haven't and you don't want spoilers, you can mute us and we'll just send you a message when I'm all done. Is there anyone that? You're good, Chris? Okay. Okay, Leslie, good? Everyone good? All right, here we go. Chapter 2. My knuckles rapped softly on a wooden door, nestled in the hushed heart of Chatham Castle. It creaked open. A pair of warm eyes peered at me, then smiled. The door opened, and I slipped in. Martin welcomed me into the warmth of his personal apartment, a small affair along the back wall of Chatham Castle. Broad, sparkling windows overlooked a swath of Leadham wood and dark sky. Every now and then, a glimpse of flying forest dragon could be seen in between window panes. Flames bounced in a stone hearth opposite us, washing the room in buttery light. "Merry meet," he murmured, his voice a raspy rumble. He wrapped me in a comforting embrace. I sank deeper into it, relishing the heat. Despite a wool dress, pants, 3 pairs of socks, dried hair, and my cloak, the Arctic temperature of Prana's grasp continued to hold me in close clutches. My body still shivered every now and then. Martin pulled back to study me. Lines wrinkled his forehead, lending greater depth to his expression. He put both hands on my cheeks. Are you sure you... Sorry. Woo! I have to remember Martin, hold on. Are you sure you must do this? He whispered. Yes. Disappointment washed his features. He gave a small smile, then gestured toward a divan near the fire. I lowered into it. An expansive painting of Mildred lingered over the hearth. Her stern visage, softened by curious eyes, peered out of history. Hints of Papa appeared in her jaw, the angle of her nose. As always, she saw right into my frightened soul. She's a force of nature, even in death, Martin mused with a chuckle. I laughed, unable to help it. Definitely. The fire beckoned me closer as I sat on the far side of the couch, closest to the flames. As always, a pot of tea steamed on a small cherrywood table. Notes of mint filled the air. Bookshelves, rugs, and a few pots of dried flowers here and there carried a homey ambiance. Martin's smell, a mix of sage and leather, comforted me. For all the coziness, it felt bathed in echoes. I didn't wake you? I asked. His gaze flickered to the clock. 4:30 in the morning. A wry smile crossed his face as he rubbed his fingers together, holding them closer to the flames. Old men have a hard time sleeping. I snorted. It's impossible to think of you as old. You're timeless, grandfather. He hooted. Coming from the girl that calls my only son an old man, I'm flattered. I was up most of the night, thinking about you going to Alasia. Mention of Papa subdued my initial response. Martin eyed me. I opened my mouth to speak before him, recognizing that I had a narrow window of time to change the subject. He beat me to it. Speaking of your father, he drawled. I scowled. Martin nudged my knee with his. An affectionate gesture, but I still couldn't look at him. A sludge-like darkness enveloped me from the inside, sticky and hot. Papa was the main subject I didn't want to discuss. I don't want to talk about Papa. The words curled inside me, like a defensive porcupine. There was nothing else to say, or there was so much to say that I couldn't. Tell me, he murmured. I closed my eyes. Only a week had passed since the demigods had attempted an uprising. A week in which Scarlet and other network leaders gradually stamped out the worst of chaos and fear. Other network leaders, not Papa. Papa had ceded the throne to Scarlet in a shocking move, then disappeared after the fight with the demigods. Not a trace, not a breath, only a vague note that explained nothing and left no trace. Now, he was somewhere adrift in Alcara. Rumors abounded through the Chatham Chatterer, which populated articles about him daily. Speculations over his death continued, but Scarlet had eased those by saying, Our former high priest deserves a rest. He made a decision he felt best for the network. Let's honor his work and press forward into more necessary changes. I'm angry with Papa. Really angry. Yes, Martin said with a smile. I can sense that. I shot to my feet. Why did he leave? I burst out, unable to contain it now. He left me without saying anything. He was ready to die that night. That's why he handed the throne to Scarlet, and he didn't even warn me. Martin, I could have been an orphan. I lost Mama. I can't. Finally free now, the words felt ugly. More putrid than ever. I'd spent the last week holding them inside, trying to make sense of how betrayed I felt, but it never did make sense. Papa didn't owe me an explanation for everything he did, nor did he have to include me. I was 22 years old now, an adult. But something of this size? We had been a team. Ever since Mama died, we'd come together in a new way. My trust in him crumbled, like a bridge made of sugar.
Whoa, baby girl.
Okay, and that's going to be in our box this tomorrow, right? Today.
Thanks,
Would be
Katie.
good.
That was just
Like
part of it.
yesterday would be good.
I know, yesterday, I know. No, you don't want it yet. It's not pretty right now. It's not pretty right now. I'm fighting constantly with Ignis, but it's getting there. We're getting there. I see myself as like a wrestler. And I'm like constantly going up against my own characters, right? So Baxter was in trouble for a while, but now it's Ignis. Okay, we got it figured out. So what do you think? Are you excited?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much.
Made me cry.
Those of you that have read Rise of the Demigod, which all of you hopefully, well, Jade and Debbie haven't, but with Rise of the Demigods, did you anticipate that Bianca was going to be upset with Derek in this next book? Did you expect something like that from Bianca?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shelly did.
Yeah.
They did. Jane. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys
How
think
could she not be?
What'd you say, Jane?
I said, how could she not be?
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
That's Papa. Yeah.
Exactly.
How could she not be
And she
upset?
had no warning. He made this decision and just boom, gone.
Yeah.
I'd be pretty ticked off too.
Same,
Yep.
Daniel. I think it was cool that you stayed. Debbie too, and Jade too. Yes, Jane, he did. I think, you know, they've had such a, like, what, 5 years or something like that together now. And he didn't tell her, which is interesting because you guys are going to get Derek soon, where you actually do figure out what's going on, which those of you that read the sneak peek already know a little bit, right? So it'll be the fun part of the Derek novella that's coming up is you'll get it before the Forgotten Gods. So you are going to have all of the answers and Bianca's not going to have any. So when you go to Alasia with Bianca, it's so delicious.
I bet.
Right? Like, it's so good. The timing. I'm super excited about the timing, so I hope all of you like it. But anyway, so there is part of the Forgotten Gods.
Love it.
Woohoo!
See, you will, Debbie, you will get there. All of you will eventually get there. There's a lot of books. Okay.
Yes, there is.
And I launched them so fast, it's hard to keep up even if you have read them all. So don't feel bad.
Has anyone
think
not
about
finished the network series? Because that was probably a little bit of spoiler if anyone hadn't finished
Oh,
those.
I've had spoiler every time. So
Jade,
don't worry.
yeah. Jade.
Same.
Jade. Yeah. Oh, you're right, Kim.
I think I'm finally working out the family tree.
Maybe that's what you should do, Katie, a family tree.
Oh yeah, I should. Someone else asked for, whenever you guys make a request of me, I have like a separate list that I put it on, and then I get to it just as I'm able. Like I'm trying to do the maps right now. Someone asked for a political structure and hierarchy. I think it might have been Victoria, where like you can see like council member, coven leader, highest witch, you know, like you can kind of see the order of positions in the network. So that's something else that will be coming. So it's kind of like a network tree. Louise, she's not here today, but Louise has actually just joined my team as part of the wiki group. So Louise has taken over my wiki and she's been updated and expanding that because she was a really big player in the Doctor Who fandom wiki. So she's like bringing the Alcara wiki up and working on that too. I have Mike and Evan have like started the wiki and kept it going, but Evan's had a lot of stuff going on this year, so he hasn't been on it for a while. But now Louise is taking that over, so we can put a lot of this stuff over on the wiki, which will be really fun.
Yeah, I thought the list of gods and goddesses in the beginning of Prana was really helpful as well, because it's
Yes.
hard to remember and keep track of all that.
Oh gosh,
Right.
especially if you're a
I'm bad
listener.
with names.
Yeah, especially if you're a listener. What'd you say, Debbie?
Said I'm bad with names, but I wanted to remind you. Remember when I did my first coffee with Katie like a month ago, and I told you that I'd only read Miss Mabel's. So now I've read 11.
Oh wow!
Since I'm on my 11th since then, so I'm not doing too bad.
You're
catching
doing
up.
great.
You're doing great,
Wow.
Debbie.
You are getting there quick.
You're way ahead of me still.
Flying through.
You gotta get through freedom.
I said Debbie's way ahead of me.
Yeah, it's good. It gets done when it gets done, right?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
have more time on my hands.
Freedom is a big one. Like it's a big book, but it's also a lot happens in that book.
Yeah, it does.
You know,
It's wonderful.
It is a good book.
So far my favorite book actually is War of the Networks.
That's a good one too.
Oh, that one had a lot of tear jerkers in it.
Yeah,
it
Katie
really
liked
is.
to rip our
But it
hearts
was-
out in that one.
That was a tough one. There's a lot of those in a lot of books.
Yes, there are.
I mean, to make you
I
feel
have
better,
a book that hasn't made me cry.
I still don't know who I'm killing in War of the Gods, if that makes you feel better.
Nobody.
Oh.
Once nobody.
Doesn't make you feel
Oh,
better.
isn't that swell?
Oh, come on, you guys. Someone's got to die, right?
Just once, Katie. Come
No, not
on.
necessarily.
Yeah. You can't have an like inter-god war. Like it can't be the war of the gods if someone doesn't die. It's like Twilight, right? She like the final book built up all of this stuff in her fourth book, and then there was never a
Doesn't
fight. And I was like,
do that.
Debbie's like, yes, I loved it. There has
I'm
to be
not a vampire fan, so I never read those.
I hadn't read them either, Carol.
Well, I
Yep,
started
never.
reading them, and I have to say, I was Team James. I wanted him to kill her, like at the very beginning. I'm like, Bella's got to go.
I was Team
Just
James.
kill her. Just she's got to
James
go.
James is the bad guy.
I know, and I was Team James all the way. And the second one was just brutal to read to me.
You know, I try to stay really neutral on Twilight because I deeply respect Stephanie Meyer and what she has done. Like, but I say this as an author, right? So Stephanie Meyer like wrote this book and it went bonkers. She had written one book and she didn't have a lot of publishing experience. She had to write all the others under extreme amounts of pressure and opinions and movie deals and all this other stuff. So I kind of step back from where I stand and I'm like, you go, sister. Like, she has endured so much backlash and so much nastiness for her books that I sort of just like, maybe they weren't my favorite and the ending kind of disappointed me, but man, I'm glad I don't have to write my books under the same pressure she does. Like, that was pretty tough. But yes, it's not for everyone, but some people absolutely love it. So, you know, it's
once I got through the second one, it got better. I still don't like Bella, but it still got better.
Oh, I never liked
she,
Bella.
you know, but I stayed up like round the clock reading them once I got past the second one.
I think people that are drawn to my books are not going to be drawn to Bella, right?
No.
So it's not even a little surprising to me that you might not like Bella because she is the total opposite of Bianca, right? But a lot of people that identify with Bella, they want to be saved. So I mean that makes total sense to me, and I'm not even a little surprised. But
in the fourth one, Bella kind of becomes a badass in the fourth one.
Yeah,
Still didn't like her.
I don't remember the book that well. And then a while ago, I saw them on Netflix, and I was fast forwarding through the movie, but I couldn't even watch the movie because I was like, meh. Like I just like fast forwarded it to remember like what happened. Anyway, yeah, the fourth one I liked Bella better if I remember right, but I didn't like the ending. So
yeah, they could have done better.
Yeah, but honestly, that's what Louise said about Prana.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Which is fair. And there was someone else that didn't really like Prana either, which is totally fine because not everyone's going to love every book. And it is a different story structure because you've experienced so much of what happens in Prana. It's just different. Like it's not, we already know, we're just learning the details of Prana when we already kind of know the driving force behind the story and you're getting a greater glimpse into her world. So I wasn't too surprised. It was Andy. Andy was kind of like, yeah, it was okay. It's the same thing with the room.
I think we're so used to such gosh, I don't even know the word, intense things going on. And this was a little more subdued, I guess, maybe is the word, but I think I still loved all the back, the little things. It was good to have information on it.
And I mentioned that in my review too, that it's not like any of the other books.
Good.
But the information that you get is kind of critical to the saga because you're finding out why certain things happened the way that they did.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was going to say, I love seeing it you get to see Bianca from another character's perspective, but also you get to see the events from it's like another window on things. So, I mean, it felt like it made me want to like reread sections of Rise of Demigods and the Lost Magic. Because I was like, let me see it from Bianca's perspective, and then go back to Prana. So really, kind of, I think it felt like it enriched my kind of knowledge of the other works as well.
That's awesome. I'm glad. Yeah, that was kind of my hope for it. There's some good answers, but it couldn't be like an encyclopedia, right? There had to be like some sort of story. The fun part of Prana, I think, is the glimpse behind the curtain for the goddesses, like her connection to her kingdom, the water, the way she communicates with water and mermaids, like all of that kind of setup. I actually have this whole other story that came from this about there's like a war between mermaids and sea dragons going on. So I think after writing Prana, I like see something happening there too. But yeah, it's just different, which is kind of fun because it can kind of shake things up so that you just get different books at different times. But it's also really great coming up for Derek, because Derek is everything you're used to times 10 in terms of like intensity and like what's going on, what's happening next, and things happen fast in Derek. So Prana kind of gets you this information, and then Derek gets you ready for the Forgotten Gods, so that you just have this really cool experience reading the Forgotten Gods. So if any of you struggle or struggled with Prana, totally fine. Like it's kind of part of it. But now there's a little more information, and you kind of go into the stories with just a little more knowledge. Also, it goes all the way back to like the Dragon Master trilogy, pretty much, right? Like
She's very bitter.
Encompass, yeah, she is very bitter. Very bitter. Yeah, it pretty much encompasses.
She's just a goddess. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
A little prima donna there.
There you go, Kim. That's exactly what I was thinking.
A little bit of prima donna. Prima donna is a good word for her. She's kind of entitled and doesn't want to be.
Or she thinks she is anyway.
She thinks she is. Yeah, right, Carol.
You snarled when you said that, Carol.
There.
I like what Katie said. I hope you love to hate her like I do.
I hated
hate to
loving
love her, or whatever you said, Katie. Yep.
Well, it's
that's
kind of
where
both,
I'm at.
right? I loved hating her and I hated loving her.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you get to see a little bit more Dea Silva too, which is important. The ending of Prana is really important, kind of
Yeah,
studying.
because apparently Dea Silva's a little bossy with her sisters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you have Prana as a little sister wreaking havoc, I don't.
Well, that's
I
true.
don't blame- I kind of don't.
It's kind of like that little annoying, sibling that, so.
Yeah.
Prana, what are you doing now? Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, what I liked was finding out that Serena's the oldest of the goddesses. That
yeah.
she's the oldest sister, and it's like we hardly see her at all, but yet she's the oldest, and she's the one that caused all this havoc between mortals and witches. It's like, we need to clarify this a bit, Katie.
Yeah. Yeah. So Serena is the oldest goddess sister. She's the goddess of the desert.
Right.
I don't remember. So really what happened during the mortal wars, when the gods and goddesses split, is the gods and goddesses inhabited Alcara. The goddesses were more powerful. The gods had the mortals, the goddesses had the witches. It wasn't going well. And it mostly wasn't going well because of Tantus, god of thunder. And
Imagine
Serena,
that.
the way he was specifically treating witches and allowing his mortals to foul up witches. So Serena essentially like kicked Tantus out because she was more powerful than him. So she kicked, and the goddesses all just kicked the gods out and said, you just need to go away, right? So that was 2,000 years ago. But if you think about it, because I established in Prana that the gods and goddesses are eternal beings, right? Like no one knows their beginning. They have no end. They're like the magic itself, so to speak. So 2,000 years is literally nothing to these like gods and goddesses, because so they've been banished for like a little bit of time, but now Tantus is still really angry about it, and he wants Alcara back because they were banished into the ocean to establish something else in Prana's land. So Prana, I feel kind of bad for Prana too, because her sisters like kicked her brothers out, and now she's got to deal with them in the ocean, right? So yeah, it's fun to kind of understand the framework behind it, because I have an idea to do the Mortal Wars trilogy, where I go into Esmelda and do 3 books around the rebelling of the gods and like kicking them out and that kind of stuff. So you would see the goddesses with Esmelda, and it would just be totally different, because the gods and goddesses would be more involved where they aren't now. The goddesses are like, just let them do whatever they want, which Prana's upset about. Doesn't like that. She likes more control than that. So anyway, I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, so does anyone else like me, when I'm reading your books, I'm envisaging as the film version? I imagined all the characters, but I'm putting it into a play, into a film.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of see it like a movie in your head.
Yeah, that movie in your head. Is that how you do it as well? Do you have this kind of vision of the scene?
I do.
Yeah, Chris wasn't here when we were talking about actors and actresses, I don't think. I don't think he was here yet.
Oh, no, I think he was. Chris, were you here when we were mooning over Henry Cavill?
Carol was really mooning.
Yes, I was.
Well, when that
Just
picture
because
popped
I picked my entree doesn't mean I can't look at the menu. Come on.
That's right.
To answer your question, Chris, when I write the books, I very much have like a scene in my head that I can sometimes see unfolding, and I try to write like what I'm seeing, what I'm picturing. So I am able to picture it in my head and kind of try to communicate it to the page. I know Louise, our other UK person that comes regularly, she said that she has something called aphantasia, which is she can't picture in her head, like she doesn't picture it in her head like a movie like a lot of us do. I don't know how I think she's still trying to put into words how it works for her, but she says she can't do that. And I know I've heard of other readers that can't do that, but that's how I see it personally is the movie and the sort of like rolling events that kind of happen in a setting with characters and stuff. Yeah. My, sometimes actually I get so into like I get these songs, like I'll hear a song and it will immediately like remind me of a scene in one of my books, or like a scene I'm about to write in one of my books, that as I'm writing the scene, I play that song and I can picture it all happening like with the song as a soundtrack in the background. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah, the playlist. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so there's a song by Avril Lavigne called Head Above Water. That was on the Forgotten Gods playlist, or no, the Rise of the Demigods playlist. It's on the Forgotten Gods too. The end of the Forgotten Gods, I listened to that song probably 8,000 times because I could just see this huge climactic ending like in that music. And as I was driving around and trying to come up with ideas, because I say developing a book is like layering. So the books come about layer after layer after layer. So I'll do one layer, come back, do another layer, come back to another layer. As I'm trying to really solidify all the layers, I'd listen to that song as I was driving, and I could see it happening in my head. And then I'd go home and write like the new details that I saw because I was listening to that song. So
how do you separate your books from each other in your head? I mean, you got the coffee shop series, which is so totally different to the fantasy series and so on. But how do you do it?
It's a great question. I asked that myself. No, I think it's easier than you'd think. It's kind of, for me, it's kind of like shifting from being like a business person, like in my company, I'm like writing books, to being a mom. They're just so different that I can turn one off and go into the other because it's like a totally different skill set. So for these contemporary romance books, sometimes I'm just so tired of Bianca because she and I have spent like 6 hours together and I'm like, can't figure out what the crap she wants to do with her life, you know? I just get so tired of her that I'm like, I need to think something else. So I will go into these contemporary romance books and they're like a breath of fresh air. It's like I'm going for a run or something because they're just different. So I think they actually keep my energy up for the other one because they're just different. It's really fun. I was trying to write my fantasy books without doing any of my romance books earlier this year to see if I could just go into fantasy and not do romance on the side as like a fun side thing. And I actually found I struggled more to be creative in fantasy without this totally other genre because it just kept, I don't know, it just kept things different for me when I still wrote fantasy and the romance on the side. So that was interesting. I didn't realize that would happen. So yeah, they must feed each other somehow.
So we're going to be getting more of the coffee shop after Protect Me.
Yes.
Maybe Katie's like one of her in, I think it was Flight, when Isadora talks about Sana and she says, why does she have to be so blatantly strange?
Sorry about that. What were you saying, Kim?
I said maybe you're a little bit like Isadora said about Sana. Why did she have to be so blatantly strange?
Oh my gosh. Wasn't that the best line? I love that line.
I loved it.
Oh my god. Well, sometimes I felt that about Sana. I was like, why are you so weird?
I love
Johnny decided to confront Amber about allegations that she was cheating
I am totally, I'm totally strange. There are times where like I'll be writing and then kind of to what Chris was saying, I'm trying to picture something in my head, so I'll just kind of like stare off into the distance or I'll like look at something. And apparently I look at my husband sometimes. And I'm just kind of like staring at him as I'm thinking, and it gets kind of uncomfortable. So he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm like lost in thought. Or my kids will be talking to me for like minutes before I hear them, like thinking about something. So I probably come across really strange.
Well, I thought the quote from Sana when she said about Izza, how can Izza have all these things going on at all the same time? You know, it's like, well, that's Katie.
Yes.
Yes, very much.
Yeah, Sana's more my husband and I'm more Isadora in a lot of ways, for sure. I unconsciously write him into my books in all forms. Yeah,
I'm really glad that you do.
My husband says I'm like a web browser with 5,000 tabs open.
Most women are.
Yeah. He's like, why are they all open? I'm like, because I have on my Chrome, I use Chrome. I have like group, like you can organize into groups, and then I have like 6 tabs per group, so I can open like sales, emails, like writing. So I have all these like tabs, and I use them all, but there's like 50. Right? So he's like, I can't use your computer. He's like, I can't even look at your browser because it's just too like overwhelming to me.
Mary Part, Daniel.
Bye.
Mary Part.
Mary Part.
Part, Daniel. I'm gonna be gone for just a couple minutes. My hubby wants to show me something, and I'll be back.
Bye. Oh, you don't have to answer to us, Carol. I want anything fun about you.
You want to go? There you go.
Well, is anyone reading anything else that's really fun or really good that you want to talk about?
No, mine's all stuff for my business.
That's fun, huh?
That's why I like yours. I can escape.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I've been reading. I think Diane. I can't think of her last name.
October.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she had recommended the Dragon Rider series.
Oh, that's right.
You like it?
And well, I had to put it down and start something else because I know it's not supposed to be a comedy, but sometimes I'm looking at here and I'm like, that's hilarious. I know that's not funny, but I'm just, that's just, yeah, because this kid's like a teenager, okay? And he's going to this monastery to learn their secrets because his father, it's an interesting concept, but I guess I kind of got spoiled with the dragons and all in the network that I was just like, I'm gonna have to step back a minute and read something else. So now I'm reading a book called Friend of the Devil. It's coming out next week. Yeah. Well, it's being released next week, and I need to get it done and get the review online. And also, I'm reading that one. It's
for sure
interesting.
I have this book. Let me find it hold on really quick. It's called The Library. Okay, it's called The Library of the Unwritten. Has anyone ever heard of this?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. I love it so much I stopped reading it because I'm on chapter 9 and there's like 42 chapters, but I'm like, it's gonna end. Like, it's so good. Like, it's so good. I'm like Andy. She won't start the Health and Happiness Society series because it'll be my last series. Like, but she hasn't read, and so she doesn't want it to end. I'll read you the blurb, but this is what the cover looks like. It's The Library of the Unwritten. Oh my gosh, the librarian. So the tagline is "Join the library, raise hell." But it's funny because it's basically like the hell has a library of all the books that haven't been written. So Claire is a librarian in like the library in hell, basically. So it's like owned by the devil, and the like souls who go to hell like have this library. So She goes, so it starts here. It says, stories want to change, and it is a librarian's job to preserve them. That's the natural order of things. The unwritten wing of the library, for all its infinite magic and mystery, is in some ways a futile project. No story, written or unwritten, is static. Left abandoned too long and given the right stimulation, a book goes wrong in the head. It is a story's natural ambition to wake up and start telling itself to the world. This, of course, is a buggered pain in the arse. And the first paragraph says, books ran when they grew restless, when they grew unruly, or when they grew real. Regardless of the reason, when books ran, it was a librarian's duty to catch them. So it's all about books that haven't been written are in this like wing of the library. And Claire, like a book gets away, like an unwritten book gets back into the world, and Claire has to go track it down. And it's a romance about this woman. Anyway, it's so good. I'm totally butchering it, but it's so good I can't stop reading it. So that's one book I'd recommend to you guys, The Library of the Unwritten. The writing's just, the prose is gorgeous too. Anyone else have a good one? Hey,
Mine
Terry.
is weird.
Hi.
Thanks for coming, my friend.
Finally woke up.
My kind of guy. Terry's in Utah, so it's almost noon his time. So everyone, good job, Terry. That's awesome.
I'm still a night nurse at heart. I haven't been able to get out of my night. I go to bed at 2, 3 in the morning and wake up at noon.
Debbie's like, yeah. Terry was a NICU nurse for how many years?
13.
13 years. That's amazing.
48 of working in hospitals.
That's crazy. Oh. Yeah, so NICU is the neonatal intensive care unit. So it's the really, really, really little babies, the really little ones.
14 ounces, and if you take a US dollar bill out, top of the head was at the one.
Oh, you're covering your microphone. Did you move your hand?
Gotta figure out where my microphone.
There you go.
Okay. The top of the head would be at the top of the start of the dollar bill, and about the mid cap would be.
I think you covered your microphone again. Sorry, Terry.
Figure it out this way.
There you go.
There you go.
Anyway.
Thank you.
Dollar bill from
Leslie.
head to toe was about the same length as a dollar bill. 23-week gestational age baby, which is about a 3.5, 4-month-old baby that was starting out in mom and was born that early. And the last one I took care of as a home care nurse is now 8 years, will be 9 years in June. And you wouldn't know him from any other 8 or 9-year-old kid.
There was a lot of miracles that happened in that place. I worked at a pediatric hospital too, and I would just do rotations in the NICU, but it was always such an amazing place. So cool. Well, Terry, have you read Prana yet? Did you get your copy?
Yes, I loved it, actually. I understand that there's a lot to not like about Prana.
There is a lot to not like about Prana, for sure. That's a good way to put it.
But at the same time, I mean, what I said in the review is she's a spoiled brat. She's the young, as near as I can tell, she's the youngest of the goddesses, which means that she's probably the youngest of all of the goddesses. And because of that, she's had her own way whenever she wanted, and nobody paid attention to her because they just kind of let her go. And that's why she came up with Almoran. Yeah, Almoran.
Yeah, Almoran.
That's how she came up with that magic, because nobody cared, you know. She was just coming up with something, you know. And she's the yin to the yang, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
She's
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say she's the dark side to the everything else is light side.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. She it's fun because she's the youngest of the goddesses, and Galos, the god of ice, is the youngest of the gods. So it's like as the series develops, you'll be able to kind of see like some comparisons between siblings, right? Like Tontus is the oldest god, Serena is the oldest goddess. So you can kind of start to see the comparisons come across like siblings. So it'll be really fun. What did you guys think of Prana's connection with the water? Like when she could hear the water talking? Did you like that?
That was cool.
That cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. My brother-in-law was living with us for 6 weeks, and I was writing Prana when he was here, and so he and I were like, he also writes, so we would just write all day together. It was really fun, and I would talk to him about that. I was like, how can I represent like talking water? So we were like brainstorming it out and stuff, and the way it landed is the way I pictured it in my head was the way like it came out, which is really cool. It doesn't always happen that way. But then like in the audiobook, it's really fun too, the way like we narrated and stuff.
That's cool. I thought that was way cool.
The water, that's cool. Yeah, I liked the bottles, like when they brought bottles and she could like dribble the bottles and hear the words. Really fun too. Anyway, awesome. Well, Terry, we were just talking about books that we're currently reading. Do you have any good books that you're reading right now?
Yeah, I read World War II history, and in this case, probably nobody's ever heard of Chesty Puller. He was the most decorated Marine ever. He earned 5 Navy Crosses.
Oh wow!
He rubbed people the wrong way, so it took him. He should have, in half of those, he should have actually earned the Medal of Honor for some of the things that he did, but the higher ups didn't think that he started out as a enlisted man and went all the way up to Lieutenant General. But
wow.
made it. Fought in Guadalcanal, fought on Peleliu, which is one of the really, I mean, people hear about Tarawa as being a bloody battle, but Peleliu was actually worse than that. And yeah, I'm a history nut, so I read those kind of things. That's my bring me back to when I get too far into fantasy, I need to come back to real life and finding people, reading about people dying in war and then what's going on in the world today grounds me, I guess is the best way to put it.
Okay, yeah.
Well, thanks, Terry. My husband loves historical, history stuff, so I'll have to tell him that.
Jade,
Thanks.
You probably can't see it, but I'm holding up all the light we cannot see. So Jade is reading this one right now.
Oh.
It's World War II historical. Is it World War One? Jade?
2, I think.
No? Oh no, it's the Nazis. Yeah. So it's so good. This is another one that I like so much I had to stop reading.
Yes, it is so good.
Right?
I'm getting attacked.
And what is it again, Katie?
All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I'm not sure.
Yeah, something like that.
It's about a 12-year-old girl that lives in Paris near the Museum of Natural History. Her father works there. He keeps all the keys. He's got the coolest job. But she is blind. And
yes,
it's really cool. Like, it is such a cool book. And then there's another storyline. This guy named Werner Fenig. He's an orphan and he's like obsessed with radios, and he grows up in Germany, like as the Nazis are coming to power, and it kind of starts to braid them together. I'm like 70 pages in, and it's gorgeous. Like, it is really, really phenomenal.
Oh, so you're about the same amount in as I am.
Sweet. Now I want to go read
Louise,
it.
good to see you.
Hi, Louise.
Hello.
Louise. But Terry, I think you might like it if you like World War II, like historical fiction. This is a really good one. And the main girl is blind, so it just adds this whole other dimension to the war. and like her experience of it, right? Because it's scary enough being in war, but when you can't see anything, it's even scarier. And kind of she loses her sight when she's like 6, right, Jade?
Yeah.
Starts to, yeah.
So
Anyway.
she actually can see, I mean, she knows what things were before she lost her sight.
Yeah, but
Yep,
and then she has
like
to
me.
learn. I guess, like, yeah, like Jade, right? So Jade is legally blind and she lost her sight. How old were you, Jade?
I was born blind, but I had a little bit of vision, and then I lost it when I was 11.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Crazy, right? So in the story, she has to kind of learn how to be blind almost, right, Jade? Because there's like skills that come with it. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
Super good book. At first, I wasn't like, those are sometimes hard books to pick up because the thought of losing your sight is so scary, right? People don't necessarily want to read those books, but this is a gorgeous book. It's handled so beautifully and amazing. And it just like makes you love her so much because she's like so strong. Like Jade, like you just figure it out and you kind of keep going.
Some things aren't like, as a blind person's point of view, like some things aren't like totally correct. Like obviously tying your shoes and doing your hair and whatever that she gets other people to do. I'm like, why can't you do it yourself?
Yeah, like I can tie my shoes. Yeah. Well, yeah, I wonder how much of that is because he had to have had someone help him with this, right? So I wonder if he was making those choices as her character, like her character chose not to do that or something. I'm not sure because she's a really strong character. Like she's a lovely girl. She's not super victim-y or anything. But anyway, that's a really good one, Jade. I'm glad you put that up. Louise, how are you? What's going on in the UK? Chris, this is Louise. We were telling you about her. Chris is also in the UK. He's up by the Isle of Wight, though.
Oh, okay. We've just had a busy bit of election this week, and so like the past 4 weeks, I've been helping my local candidates a lot. We've knocked like thousands of like over 2,000 houses at least once.
Wow!
Yeah, the candidates for Labour lost massively in my ward. We've had the election was yesterday and the count was today, and we lost massively.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So,
oh no.
We did our best. It's
nothing
more we can do. They did
that. Frustrating.
Yeah, but at least we tried.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and good for you for getting involved. That's amazing, right? Like getting your voice out there. Good for you. Well, we were just sharing books. If you have any good books that you've been reading lately.
Let me think. I've not been doing a huge amount of reading because I've been so busy with that. I have got a book right here that I read a couple of years ago. I've read another book by this author as well. Both really good, and I think she's got some others. I just thought it caught my eye. It's called Paper Avalanche by Lisa Williamson. This one specifically is about a teenage girl whose mother is like a hoarder, and how she manages to help her mother thanks to making a friend with a neighbor kid, and it's like really touching if you like that kind of thing.
Yeah, that sounds good. Paper Avalanche. It looks like a fun cover too.
Yeah, I've got a couple by this author, and the pages are yellow on the side.
Fun.
Yeah, I've got another one that's pink with blue pages called The Art of Being Normal, which is another good book. And she's got a few others that I haven't read, but I want to at some point.
Well, now that the elections are over, will you have more time?
Not in the next couple of weeks. I'm focusing on some uni coursework next, but then after that, probably one thing to the next.
Yeah, that's kind of how life goes, right?
But
it's been busy. It was your 25th birthday, elections, now back to your classes. Busy.
Yeah. Awesome. It's nice to be relaxing in bed for a minute.
Yeah, that's awesome. Does anyone now that like spring is in many parts of the world except Australia, sorry Jade, and summer is coming for lots of us, but except you, Jade. Does anyone have any fun plans? It's going to be happening this summer.
How
I'm
about
still
like
flower
this
garden.
month?
Go ahead, Carol, and then Jane.
Next Wednesday, my husband and I are leaving for Kansas City. We're going to the NASCAR race. And then we're going to Iowa to visit my little brother. And then we're going to Minnesota to the North Shore on Lake Superior. And if you've never been there, you got to go there. I mean, other people love the ocean. To me, Lake Superior is my indoor ocean. You don't need you don't need the ocean when you got Lake Superior. I guess that's just being a Minnesotan at true heart. Then we're going to go see Rich's daughter, and then we'll come home for a day, and then we have to go to Colorado for a wedding.
Wow. What part of Colorado are you going to?
Fort Collins.
Carol, I used to live there.
I know.
I would have come down to see you. That would have been so
Dang.
fun.
That would have been so much fun.
So fun.
Maybe I can talk my husband into like, well, no, I can't because I have to be home for vacation Bible school, and my grandson is just can't wait to go to vacation Bible school.
So wait, Montana's like not on the way?
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking, how could we not divert to Montana?
No, we'll figure out one day. Maybe we'll have like a big retreat, and all of you can come, and we'll just do
a big meet and greet.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, big.
There you
I know a lot of authors that do conferences for their readers, and like you just kind of host it at a hotel, and people can come at a discounted rate and just make Alcara happen. That's in my brain, but it'll probably be a couple years. My kids need to be in school before I get crazy.
That's always a good thing. Yes.
Jane, did you have summer plans that you were talking about?
I'm still trying to get all my flower gardens built because we added on to the house last summer, so that I'd have my own space and Mason could have his room back. But we got the addition, just my room part is 30 feet long, and so we just built that flower garden last weekend. And we're putting a 14-foot slide in for the pool, and then I'll build another one there. And we had to get one because I'm 5'5" and I come up to Dylan's shoulders and he's 16. So we had to get one that was, he didn't sit on it and his feet touch the ground. It's like he sits on it and he's in the water. So we figured 14 feet would be good. But I'm going to have my two nieces the last week of June. One is 6 and one is 3. So they're a hoot. They're something else. My 6-year-old niece fell into the pool whenever Mason and his best friend were out there one day. They freaked out because she was only 4 at the time, and they completely freaked out. She jumped in, she didn't jump in. Her foot slipped and she fell into the deep end. So I look out from the patio and they're struggling to try to get her out of the pool. She gets out, drenching wet, looks at him and goes, "Didn't y'all know I'm a mermaid?" They both were like, what just happened?
I would have been like, I don't know if I want to cry or laugh.
I'm like, girl, you are my heart. Let me just tell you. She's just like, "Didn't you know I'm a mermaid?"
I am a mermaid.
She cannot wait to get on the slide. So she's very excited.
Oh, well, good luck with that.
That is so cute.
My
That
kids
is
are
so
6 and 3. They have so much energy. Oh my gosh.
Yes. But my sister will be keeping the 6-year-old at night, and I'll be keeping the 3-year-old so that they will sleep. Well, she'll be 4 this month, but so that they will sleep. She's keeping one and I'll keep one. So
that sounds like so much fun. I hope that's a blast for you. Oh, some of you, I told you already, Terry, because you're in Utah, but I just booked the Fan X, which is the convention in Utah, just booked me to be on some panels and to have a table there. So if any of you are going to be in Utah around the end of September during the Comic-Con, Fan X Con in Utah, Salt Lake City, I think it is. I don't know where. I don't know if it's downtown Salt Lake City. I don't know. But they just booked that. And then Dragon Con was confirmed a little while ago. So I'll be at Dragon Con also. And then I have another con that I'm doing local at the end of the month. So Someone has been emailing me asking to let you guys know more often about in-person events. Those will be the only 3 in-person events I'll be doing right now is MissoulaCon, the Salt Lake Fan X, and then Dragon Con in downtown Atlanta. But just thought I'd let you all know that will be going on this year in case you happen to be in the neighborhood and want to go to a con, to any of those.
When is Atlanta?
It's the Labor Day weekend. The first weekend in September. It's like the 2nd and 3rd and 4th. There's no, I don't know, Jane. It's like months out. Seriously. Hold on. I don't even know if it's on my calendar.
You can just post it in the Witchery and we'll find it.
It's Thursday the 1st of September, 2nd, 3rd, and Sunday through Sunday the 4th of September.
Hey guys, I've got to jump off to get to an appointment, so we will see you guys, maybe some of you tonight.
Bye.
Yeah.
See you tonight, Kim.
Nice to have you.
Good visiting with y'all.
Good to see you. See you tonight.
Good to see you, Kim.
Good day.
Awesome. Anyone else have any fun summer plans?
What is all that? What is
Sorry, there we go.
Wow.
Shelly's microphone goes crazy sometimes.
So Atlanta is only 5 hours
Oh wow.
ish. I know that because I drive to Atlanta when the Dodgers play the Braves. So I can go watch the Dodger game. Since I'm
Nice.
so far away now to,
Yeah.
you know, it was always great when they played San Diego because like half of LA would be in San Diego to watch it. But so I will be going in, not next Friday, the Friday after. I will be on the road to do a whirlwind drive to Miami. So that's 10 hours, not stopping. So it's going to be more than 10 hours. And then Saturday is going to be my goddaughter's graduation. So she's gone through medical school and gone through all her, she's been matched to Brooklyn's hospital for her surgical round, but this will be her graduation.
Oh,
And then,
cool.
then I get back in the car and drive back. So I won't say that it is planned to be the most fun experience, but sandwiched in between those nightmares of a drive is going to be some fun and some people that I haven't seen for a while. So they're all flying out to Miami. I'm the only crazy person who's driving, but
I love road trips though.
Yeah,
Oh, I do too.
I usually
I do too.
do, but I'm bringing my mom who's 83 and she has some ideas. So when we drove to my other goddaughter's graduation in New York, she has her maps that she got from AAA.
Yeah.
And she's like, you have to go here. I'm like, Mom, my husband and I are like, Mom, first of all, we have the nav system in the car and we have our iPads, which we're doing the maps and we're like, but you don't understand. See, here's an accident and we're going this, you have to go this road. So finally, when we got to DC, we ended up on the Beltway and we were parked in traffic for 2 hours. And I thought my husband's ears, you know, in cartoons where they fume and the smoke comes
DC
out
is
their-
terrible to drive.
So this is what a driving experience is going to be like. And so therefore, I actually have loaded some of the audiobooks onto my iPad.
Good. And I was going to say, you need audiobooks, sister.
I'm planning to play them the entire way and back. That's my plan, is to listen to the audiobooks that I had got from my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
So I loaded them on so that I could listen to audiobooks.
Oh, that's awesome. I was gonna say, I think audiobooks are saving graces in those situations. Like, oh, so much. So good luck with all that. Be safe driving.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Thank you. But you know, I do think that we have a lot to celebrate and enjoy this year. I mean, look at all the people who are traveling and going out and doing things and going places. So I think that it should be fun to see people who haven't been doing that for a while
Yeah, it's a little safer for a lot of people now. Our trivia master Mike is heading out to Florida, and they're doing 5 to 7 days in all of the theme parks, like Universal,
Wow.
and Harry Potter, and Disneyland, and all that for like 7 days. It was like I did 2 days, and I was like, I'm out. Like 7 days is a lot. He's so excited. That's his big fun summer thing. Anybody else?
He could go to Kennedy Center. I don't know if he's planned that, but that's an awesome side trip right there. I had some events that I was on Disney property for. And so we did day trips over to Kennedy Center. And the thing is, if you buy a ticket for the one day and go, then you can come back any other time within the like 7 days for free. So cool. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll have to tell him about it. I think he leaves in a couple weeks. That'll be fun. I have like 3 weeks left until my kids are out of school. So I'm frantically trying to enjoy this.
Today is my son's 24th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Tell him happy birthday.
I don't know if I'm going to get to see him, but he works afternoons, so I'm not sure if he's going to pop in between now and time to go to work or not.
Yeah, 24.
But I called him at 1:45 in the morning because that's what time he was born. So that's what I do to both my kids. My daughter was born at 1:35 and he was born at 1:45. So I always call them at 1,
That's
and
awesome.
he's like, he had just gotten off work. He'd only been off work 10 minutes. And he's like, hello, are you okay? So I just started singing happy birthday to him. And he's like, oh, for God's sakes, Mom. I'm like, you're 24. Are you not used to it yet?
I was going to say, have you not done this before? It sounds like you've done it for a while.
I do it every year.
That's awesome.
Oh, if I did that to my son, he would shoot me because he's got 2 littles and it's like he was born at 1:57 a.m. Yeah, he would shoot me. Yeah, it would be like,
if they don't answer, if they don't answer, I sing to their voicemail.
There you go.
Call again and again and again.
But my son's like me. He answers his phone in the middle of the night. It's like, oh, he'd kill me. He'd kill me.
My kids were born at like in the evening and like in the morning, so it wouldn't be as fun. I think that's fun if it's like
right before noon.
Yeah. Anyway, well, that's awesome. Well, those are some fun plans. Terry, did you have any? Are you kind of hanging out in Utah this summer? Oh, hold on, you're muted. There you go. There you go.
I was going to say, we've got a graduation, a son-in-law, he's also graduating from med school, but that's down in St. George. So we're going down there in 2 weeks. The 15th, Monday, is graduation for that. And then they're going all the way out to Lincoln, Nebraska for their residency.
Oh, wow.
He's doing it in family practice, so it's not, not a big deal, but it'll be gone for 3 years still. So
yeah,
and their youngest little baby boy, you and I would know what a Chiari is, but anyway, he was born with a plugged ventricle in his brain. Didn't know you had ventricles in your brain, but you do. And it causes hydrocephalus. So what they do, again, the fun thing for me in medicine is the fact that I watched what used to be an impossibility to being not only a possibility, but things that work out to be great. And they put a borehole in his skull on a little tube that runs all the way down into his abdomen, and the extra fluid runs down and is absorbed in his abdomen, and it's like night and day. Before he was just kind of stare off into space. Now he laughs and giggles and all kinds of things.
Cool.
So it's been fun to watch him, how fast he turned around.
Yeah, I took care of some kids when I was a nurse that had that. It's really pretty phenomenal. It looks like we have about half an hour before I have to get going. My my son's school wants me to come talk to them. But before I let all of you go, well, I mean, we still have half an hour, but to discuss this, I had some questions and I wanted to see what all of you might be interested in terms of upcoming novellas. So I think you'll probably get more ideas after you read Derek and The Forgotten Gods, which both will be out. Well, Derek will be out in a month. But do you have any other side characters that you would like to know more about, or other stories that you would like to read based on what you've read so far?
That one who works in the library.
Oh, say it again, Louise.
What's her name? Who works in Sanako? Is it in the library?
Oh, Sanako.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sushmita really wants Sanako too. Sanako.
That's why I suggested it, because I knew she wanted it too.
Yeah, she's on my list for sure. What were you saying, Terry?
I said I'd put a vote in for that as
For
well.
Sanako? Okay.
Yeah, but you a long time ago you were going to tell us how the flying carpet got built.
Yeah,
That-
the Weavers of Magic. Yeah, so that story is still on the docket. I just don't have a date for you. So I do have a story in my head about how Tucker, who was the Weaver of Magic that created the Volare, like how he finds the grimoire that enables him to make these magical flying rugs, and then the story of him and his people in the Western Network. So that's on the back burner for sure. It'll probably come out next year. I'm trying to get a lot of the historical collection books that I've already done covers for out. I thought about doing a book for Regina, the head of Masters in the Northern Network. Would anyone be interested right now in Regina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you'll be more interested after Derek. But if you're
I
interested
have
now, you'll definitely be interested after Derek. Any other ideas or anything you wanted more of? Like, is there anything that you really liked that you want to see more of?
I have a curveball suggestion.
Yeah, go for it, Louise.
I think somebody said Guardians first, so I'll let whoever said that finish what they were saying.
Sorry, say that one more time. You're kind of farther away.
Someone else said Guardians, so I was going to let them finish what they were saying first. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're totally fine. Was that you, Debbie?
Yeah.
You want more Guardians? Is that what you said?
Like, yeah, like backstories about the Guardian, like how they came to be and all of that.
I have a like 4,000 words that was originally Ava that eventually like turned into Prana because Prana.
Prana's such a pain in the butt.
She's such a pain in the butt. So what I'm thinking about doing is just I'm gonna finish up some of those like 4,000 words, and then I was thinking about just giving it away to you guys for free, like as like a free, like, hey, this is what was supposed to be, but Prana took over. Would you guys be interested in that as a free short story?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, never. Yes.
Okay.
Are you even ask anymore, Katie?
Well, I'm really like want to make sure that you're getting what you want, right? So as long as you're telling me what you want, then we can give it to you. Go ahead, Louise.
So yeah, I had a curveball suggestion, which probably sounds like it's coming out of nowhere, but sounds it just came to me just now.
Yeah.
The fairies, were they fairies that took over the witchery? What's happening with them now? Could we have something
The
more
fairies
about them?
from the witchery?
Yeah, I thought that could be something interesting and different.
So you're talking, so like at the end of War of the Networks, the fairies have taken over the witchery turret.
Sorry for the
I should do a
spoilers.
short story about the fairies at the witchery. I should include
I
it.
just thought, I thought it could be something fun.
That would be really funny. Dafina, right? Wasn't it Dafina? She was the fairy in War of the Networks. That's right. Hey, Pat, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
So glad you made it.
Well, for a few minutes.
Oh, that's totally fine. It's fun to have you stop in. We were just talking about some more like books or short stories or ideas that you wanted to see me write. Do you have any ideas?
Ooh, let me give that a moment of pondering. And
yeah, no problem.
I like anything that you, almost anything.
You're awesome.
Yeah.
Catherine, did you have something?
So, and I'm trying to remember because I've read so many books since where it fit, whether it was in the Dragon trilogies or if it was a Bianca thing. But in Leadham Woods, there was a place where women trained and they were no longer there. They stayed in that space.
Oh, the Bezopasnost in The Lost Magic, the shield maiden.
Right. Yeah.
Shield maidens.
Yeah.
Shield maidens. That's it.
That was
So
the southern
maybe,
epic, yeah.
right, create something that gives us a background on the shield maidens and why aren't they there anymore? Right? Are they in that training space anymore?
Yeah.
What happened?
It was
that
like
made them
a start with all the rooms.
move on? Yeah. Sort of an origin.
So what actually is going to happen with that is the Shield Maiden is a novel that will be coming in the historical collection that will come out after the Swordmaker. So we're going to see, and both of them originate in the Southern Network. So the Swordmaker is already up for pre-order. You guys have already heard about that. Details like Andre's legend. So that's going to go back in time to probably the original Andre and kind of talk about the on-cease magic and kind of how that develops. We're also going to do a companion or a novel just after that one because they'll both be in the historical collection, and it's going to be titled The Shield Maiden, and it will be about like the shield maidens that would protect the high priestess in the Southern Network and how these shield maidens were found and trained and that kind of stuff. I decided at first I wasn't really sure if the Swordmaker and the Shield Maiden were going to be related to Andre and Alina, for those of you that have read the Vite, but I've decided it will be separate. So Alina and Andre's story will be wrapped up in in War of the Gods at the end of the Network saga. And then the Swordmaker and the Shield Maiden will be separate. But I'm glad you want to know more about them because I'm really excited to write that book.
Katie, did I miss it somewhere? Did I read too fast why the Southern Network has no magic anymore?
In the Network series, the Mansfeld Pact was broken.
Okay.
High Priest's daughter.
Yeah, in the third book, the Mansfeld Pact is broken by the South, and in the breaking of that pact, the witches of that entire network lose their ability to do magic.
Okay.
So
and the Mansfeld Pact was
that so that happens at the end of the Dragon Master trilogy when all of the wars and fights between the networks just result in this 100-year-long agreement. Well, it lasted 100 years. It could have gone longer, but the Southern Network broke it. Basically, it said they had closed borders. Every network just stayed into their own network. And if that was broken in an active war, if like one network advanced on the other, then the damage would be that advancing network lost, like all the witches lost their ability to do magic.
Okay. I did read too fast.
There's a lot to keep track of, Carol.
I know.
It really is.
Chris, what were you saying?
Will they get it back?
Bye, Louise.
Will they get it back? The magic?
So no, so the witches in the Southern Network won't get their ability to do magic back, but the rising generation has it. So it's just the witches in the South that were alive at the time. So as they have children, the rising generation is showing magical ability. So it's just the ones that are alive then. Yeah. There's also no ruling, so Dea Silva is the goddess of the forest, and she's basically all over Alcara, right? And then Serena is the goddess of the desert in the Western Network. Celse is the goddess of mountains in the Northern Network. But when you look at the Eastern Network and the Southern Network, there's really no ruling goddess in either of those. And you're going to see that kind of start to play out in the next couple books too. So that'll be interesting. All right, so the fairies I think is a great idea, Louise. Oh, she left. Sanako and Regina. So what I'm actually thinking is going to happen is we're going to launch the Forgotten Gods in July, and then there's a surprise secret novella that kind of comes out with the Forgotten Gods, and then Regina is probably going to come out in August. And I'm toying with the idea of doing a novella about Hiddleston. Would you guys be interested in one?
Oh, heavens, yes. We got to know about Hiddleston.
He also gets more interesting in Derek. So I think Hiddleston will be September, Regina will be August, and then October will be War of the Gods. And just depending on how the stories lay out, I might do Martin and Mildred in November. Jane's still here. So Martin and Mildred would be in November then.
Okay. And Max and Izzy would be December?
Yeah, Max and Isidore and I are or we're in discussion.
Come on, Bert.
What?
So those of you that don't know, everyone has requested that I do a separate series about Max and Isadora after the Dragon Master trilogy, and we're currently in contract negotiations over this. So I have ideas, and so do they. And we're fighting over them. But the Max plus Isadora, I'm thinking about making it into the Sister Witches series, so it'd actually be about Sana and Isadora. Sana's the one that's creating problems. So I don't know.
Imagine that.
I don't know how it's gonna land out. Bye, Catherine. It was good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. I don't know how that's gonna end, right? I don't know how it's gonna land because I don't know if Max and Isadora is just gonna be one novel that kind of takes you after that. I don't know if there's gonna be a bunch of them that takes us all the way to Mildred's. I don't know yet. I've been trying to work it out as I can, and they're kind of pushing back. So I'll let you know. But I'm kind of hoping that by December I have something for you in that world. Because what I would ideally love to do is have a series that has a bunch of Derek-sized books, right? So like 50,000 words, which is about half of the Network Saga novels. And then you get them like once every 3 or 4 weeks. So you like it's kind of a serial progression of the story. I just don't know if that's gonna happen yet. So I'll let you know. But negotiations are ongoing, as I say. Are you leaving, Debbie?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, you have a question?
Waiting patiently.
I thought you were saying goodbye.
Nope. I know that I'm just in the beginning of freedom, so I have a lot to go. The Bailey character, is there?
Oh yeah, Bailey.
More,
Oh.
is there more to her?
Bailey. There could be. Would you like more Bailey?
Oh yeah.
I think she has an interesting story.
I love Bailey. Isn't she so fun?
She's such an interesting character too. Like
She's
so
gonna
different
get more
from the others.
interesting at the end of Freedom.
That's why I
Yes, she
said I
does.
didn't. I'm not sure if I'm asking something that I'm going to know by the time Freedom is done. But
it's a good one. Bailey's a good one. She would be a fun like shoot off series. Like all her adventures in the underground Chatham City. That would be a really fun one. I'll think about Bailey too. Jade, what do you want? What's your ideal, my friend?
No, I agree with Debbie there with Bailey. But
Okay.
yeah, more Max.
That's pretty much what I hear. More Max for sure. People want more Max. Okay, that's awesome. Well, that helps a lot. Thanks, everyone. I mean, always send me anything that you want, right? Like if you finish a book, then you can.
Lita.
You want more?
Or have we done that one? Because I don't remember everything.
No, you're fine. I haven't done Lita yet.
Only a little bit in the
I
Isadora
love
area.
her.
Yeah, so if Lita accidentally, gets into Hiddleston's book, that would be really good. Just saying.
I've always seen Hiddleston and Lita's, like Hiddleston's novel or Hiddleston's novella would be like him and Lita,
Yep.
Like it would be
See
like
that, yep.
story. I don't know if I'm ready to advance that romance though. What do you guys think?
Not necessarily
Slowly.
romance, but even if it's
Let it
just,
build.
Lots of sparks.
yeah, there you go.
I feel like Hiddleston's putting off all these sparks and Lita's holding a fire extinguisher, right?
Which makes it that much more intense in a way.
Yes,
agreed. That would make their story just that much better.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
agree, Jane.
That's true. Okay, so you want Lita with Hiddleston, potentially. So here's
Of course,
the
we have
question.
no control over what goes on in your brain, Katie. So
Thank you, Carol. Thank you. You guys are totally getting the pictures I'm putting down. Would you guys ever be interested in something like a call where we just have like a big brainstorming session about like an upcoming book? Like, would you guys ever want to be involved with the actual formation of the plot in a book? Would that be fun to you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Silly question.
Go ahead, Terry.
Excellent.
What did you say, Terry?
Silly question.
Well, I mean, maybe you don't want to. Maybe you don't want that part. Maybe you just want the book. Like you don't want to have to be part of thinking the ideas up. But I know so many readers are always sending me ideas. The problem is whether I could technically like if it's legally safe to do that, right? Because
We
I
don't
know
care.
I know, but I know authors that have done something similar and then readers come at them later with like
Say it's
legal
my
disputes for ideas kind of deal. But none of you would do that, so I'm not worried about that.
But still, Katie, even if we would give you ideas, the characters are going to go into your mind and they are going to come out the way they want to, whether we have anything to say about it or not, because you are the creator. I mean, and they create themselves.
They do, absolutely do.
We have no
Independent of
control.
me, you all know that. I'm just the vessel. They have their own ideas. Okay, well, I just thought that might be a fun way, because so many people are just excited in ways to get involved in the books, and I thought that might be a fun one. The other idea I had is to start a regular book club every month. I've mentioned this before. Oh my gosh, look at those faces.
Oh, look how sweet.
They are so cute.
They are so annoying. They're trying to
I'm
fight
glad I'm
and
not the
sit
only
on
one
me.
being attacked by dogs.
That's
today.
why I wanted to show you, Jane, because I'm being sat on and pushed over, and
You're like, no, she's mine. Look at them.
Look at them playing back there. They're so cute.
Oh, that is so funny.
Oh, I love them.
Anyway, so I thought we could start like a monthly book club too, if people would want to join with the specific intent to talk about one of my books, like freedom, or like we start with Flame and then we kind of go through the Dragon Master trilogy together. The problem is I don't have time for that, but I could appoint people who could help me run it and like kind of keep the discussion going and stuff. Would you guys like a book club?
I would need to reread them. I'm just being
Uh-huh.
honest.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
need to reread because like I was reading some things in Prana and I'm like, I know I read the series, but because my memory is what it is, sometimes I don't really like, I know I read it, but I don't really quite remember everything. So I would have to reread, but I'd be fine with that.
I'm
Or
with you,
listen.
Jane. I'm with you. There are, I mean, when I reread Flame, it was like, oh, yeah, okay. And then I'm doing Flight and it's like, oh, that's how Dade died. Oh, forgot all about that.
Yeah.
And I found that listening to them is completely different.
Yeah.
Like listening to them as opposed to reading them, it's a completely different experience. You know, like you can picture it in your mind when you're reading, but then when you hear the emotion of, I don't know, I can't remember the girl's name that did the Dragon Master trilogy, but oh my gosh, the emotion she put into it was unreal. Like I was crying in the car rider line. And then the kids get in, what happened? What happened? We want to hear.
Like, I can't tell you, it'll spoil it.
I'm like, this is a little bit different than your dragon movies. We don't care. It's about dragons. Okay.
Those are good people. Those are good people.
Raising those boys right.
Well, you know, I'll keep pondering then, see what we come up with for sure. But awesome. Well, I might cut this call a little bit early so I can go get ready to talk to my son's first grade class about how to write books.
Oh, neat.
Question.
Yeah, Carol.
Real quick question. Now that you've got like the launch book out and you gave us like a launch team like the week early, do we delete that out of our book funnel now and grab the launch book? Is that what we should do?
No, it should be the same file.
Same file? Okay.
Yeah. Because sometimes like people send me some mistakes and I'll update the file so that those are gone. So you could. I don't think I updated it at all. I think we were able to get most of the mistakes. I think there might have been 2 little like proofreads that I changed. I think we were able to really get it. I changed my process since we did Rise of the Demigods so that we caught more mistakes, because there was a lot in Rise of the Demigods. There was a lot more than I thought there would be. And so we've changed the way we do it now. So I'm catching them before they go out. So the launch team copy should be really close to the final copy. But you can always just like delete it and then reinstall it right away and you would get the brand new one.
Okay. Perfect.
The other problem I've been realizing too is people have been sending me errors, which I love anytime you find a proofing mistake. The problem is I've updated them like on different retailers, but then they don't update on, like, people are saying on the Kindle there's all these errors, and I'm like, yeah, but I've updated it like in Kindle, but then Kindle doesn't update your phone. So
right,
that's usually the which it's like whack-a-mole, right? Like there's
Oh, yeah.
stuff popping up. But yeah, I appreciate you letting me know anytime. And it should be exactly the same this time.
Okay.
All right, all of you, thank you so much for coming. Some of you hung out this whole time. Jade, it's got to be like 3 a.m. there. You need to go to sleep.
Yeah, it's like 2:30 and I'm supposed to be leaving my house at 6:30.
Oh my gosh, you're crazy.
Jade,
No
go to bed.
No sleep for you tonight.
Go to sleep, Jade. Thank you all for
Oh my
coming.
goodness. He's in Australia?
Yeah, Jade is in Australia. Do you need
Wow.
something?
Oh,
I
gosh.
put it in the chat, but I didn't want to make sure you didn't miss it. I was trolling your Facebook page last night.
Oh, yeah.
And well, I have 2 questions, but one, I want to know if you still have any copies of the Health and Happiness Cookbook.
I don't at my house.
I love it.
If you want one, we can get you one. We actually took it down, or we're gonna take it down. I'm not sure if I've done it. I lost my title manager, so there's a lot that's up in the air. But we're taking the cookbook down. But I can get you a copy if you want one.
Why? It is
I
so
saw the
good.
video of it, and I was like, hey.
Yeah.
'Cause I was trolling because my real question is, I want to know when your birthday is.
Oh, I don't release my birthday, but my birthday month is March.
So is mine, but I
Perfect.
saw it's around the 30th.
Of March?
Isn't yours?
Not too far
Well,
away.
mine is the 6th. But
Oh, okay.
yeah.
You're the opposite end. Yeah, I'm
Right.
a March baby. If you wanted a copy, I can get you one. I don't think we've taken it down everywhere yet. But Jane,
You'll love it. I
it is
love
so
it.
yummy. The recipes are so good. I have my own and it's tore to crap because I just use it all the time. But it just never ever sold. Like no one ever bought it. So we're taking it
Shame
down.
on them.
I haven't.
Right. That whole series always struggled because it was never really romance and it definitely wasn't my fantasy. So it just always had a hard time finding its home. The people
But
who
those
love
are
it
some of my
love it.
favorite books.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
love
say
it.
they're
And I
life
actually
changers if you're ready.
referred someone else to those books. She was wanting something. She called me last night, and she has she had a death in the family in Florida, but she's like, I'm trying to get his mother something that, because she doesn't want phone calls, she doesn't want people, she doesn't want to talk about what happened to her son. And so I said, well, try this. So I told her a little bit about bonbons to yoga pants, and so she's sending her sister-in-law bonbons to yoga pants.
Oh, that's awesome. I know it's really that's a good one. It's a good lighthearted, quick escape.
Well, they're all so relatable, and that's why I don't understand why they didn't sell, because like there's some part of me in every one of those women. You know, I mean, they're real. I mean, they are real women, everyday women with everyday challenges, and you see them, you know.
Yeah.
And the 2 little girls, I still tell stories about the 2 little girls fluffing at the yoga studio.
Yep. I think the problem was that they were so relatable and so real that they weren't escapist, right? So I think that people were kind of like, well, this isn't like a romance where I'm transported into this like lush romance and it's not this fantasy world. And for some people, it was a little too real. I got emails from people that were like, I wasn't ready for this book. I don't think I can finish. And I was like, I totally get it. Like it's there when you're ready, you know, like totally understand. Because they tackle topics, especially Rochelle's, and you'll never know. Rochelle goes to therapy and you really like tackle some issues that a lot of women are just not ready to face because they see it in themselves. So they're life-changing books when you're ready, but some people just aren't ready for them. And so they didn't want to pay for them. And they're pseudo romance, but not really. So I think people never knew what to do with them. You know what I mean? Hi, give me just a sec, okay?
Warrior Princess.
Yes, that is Warrior Princess. She's just
last little question, Katie. If we want to go, I noticed on your website that you now have Water and Light out also, as well as PRANA. So I was going to order those 2. Do we have a coupon or anything for those?
Are you talking about in paperback?
Yes, please.
Is Water and Light paperback out? I'm trying to remember.
I just went on your website and it was there.
Okay. Yeah, I did a whole bunch of like book production and then I can't remember what titles I did. So everything is 10% off right now.
Okay.
So you'll get an automatic 10% off.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that should get you automatic. And then I didn't get to Hazel yet, but Hazel will be coming out in paperback. And then I think we're all caught up on current like all current books are going to be out in paperback with that, because I also just finished the audiobook for Water and Light. So once I finish the audiobook for Hazel and I get that to the beauty salon and back, then everything is caught up except like our new things in paperback. I still have like 5,000 audiobooks to do. You're not 5,000, maybe like 20. I have like a list of them all right here. So every time I finish one, I pull it off. Anyway, well, it was so fun to see you all. Thank you again. And I'll probably see some of you tonight, but if not, no.
What time is the?
So you're tired
I've
of
never
it.
done Friday night. So what time is it again?
It's at 9 o'clock Eastern time. So it's 7 o'clock my time. 8
It'll be
o'clock.
8.
You're Eastern, right? So it'll be 9.
I'm Central, so I'll be 8.
Oh, you're Central, so 8. Okay, perfect.
8.
All right. Well, Chris, thanks for coming. It was good to see you. Jade, be safe. Pat, it was so fun. And we'll catch you all later.
Catch you later.
Bye. Y'all have a great day. Happy launch day.
Thank you.
Happy day. Happy day.
Bye.
Oh, you know what? Lila's coming in. Sorry, Lila's just coming in. I gotta see where she went. There she is. I don't want to hang up just as Lila gets on. Hey, Lila, can you hear us? Lila.
Lila, you crazy girl. What are you doing up?
Probably like 3 in the morning for her almost, right? She's a little later than Jade, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, and the lights are on.
You're not out in the dark.
Yeah. Hey, Lila, can you hear us? No, not yet. Lila? I guess when it's 4 in the morning there. Lila, can you hear us? Oh, you know what? I'll shoot her an email really quick. All right, everyone. We'll see you later. Oh,
Bye-bye.
can you hear us now? Can you hear me, Lila? You must not be able to hear us.